Welcome to the Aftershow. I am Max. I don't know where the freaking cat is, so it's just me right now. Oh, there he is. There. Look, he came. He came to fulfill his contract. Here is the cat, chewing me up as usual. How's everyone doing? Hello. That was something. That was something. Holy cow. No. Don't be like that. Dude, I think he does it on purpose because you laugh at how he just assaults me. This is punishing. This is violence. How is everyone doing? It's Friday night. We had a debate about Christian sex. Interesting. I like this. Sunflower asks, has your cat ever peed in your laundry? No. No, he doesn't hate me. It's just something. He doesn't. It's not hate. He just likes to play super ultra rough. So we have David, we have Max, Aldebaran, Batman. The link is right there. I'm going to pin it, and you can join so we can get started. It's interesting, good to have Batman because Batman is actually a Catholic, and we will go into some of the details of her position. Her position is way more interesting than his, to me at least, because it aligns with me a little bit more. Wait, nope. Let me get in Dr. J in there, but so
Hello.
no. How are you doing, Dr. J?
Doing good. 1 second. What'd you say?
Where is this? Why won't you put me in the middle? All right, we have Dub and Chuck Riggs. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. So let's get wait, before we do that, while I fix myself on the screen here, make sure to do the social thing is like, share, subscribe, send this to a friend, send this to your significant other, go to the corner, yes, the corner of your street, and you'll subscribe to Yerba at the top. All right. Emmet's opening. I'm going to give my opinion real quick, and then I'll get to fixing the camera. Emmet's opening completely invalidated because of the fucking birds. Nothing else to say. I didn't hear a damn thing. They are super triggering. My anxiety my vein was jumping in my neck. So Emmet started in the middle of the path, rolling downhill, super wild. Sorry. I'm being completely honest, but that was bullshit. All right. Handing it over to, in the air, way over there, Dr. J. Some thoughts on Emmet's opening.
The guy's opening. I
Yes.
thought his position makes a little more theological sense in a way to me. I'm not Catholic, but theologically it makes sense. Just like the Bible says, therefore we should do it, and God knows best. And even if we aren't 100% sure why, I'm not sure he said it this way, but we should follow this. And if we're struggling, we should be open to getting married a lot earlier. But even if we're not getting married a lot early, we should not be having premarital sex. So I would say his view is more traditional, or the way I would have or remembered hearing it.
All right. Thank you so much. Dove, give us your thoughts on Emmet's opening.
Well, I didn't get to see Emmett's opening. However, I just wanted to say that based on the ending of the poll there, where it's a 60-40, and considering I was just on another live speaking about the subject of graping, and actually, if you look back, when people have sex, regardless of whether it's grape or not, like there's an example prior in the Bible, somebody was lusting and then ended up sleeping with someone, and then they discarded her, and she basically said, "Well, now you're like doubling your sin because you're leaving me." So, like the act of having sex is actually very important, and it's basically considered marriage in the Bible. So, for Grace to even accept this challenge in my mind was kind of foolish, but I hope she did well, I guess. But Emmett should have wiped the floor with her. I don't see how it was 60-40 at the end. That's all I'll say.
Okay. All right. Let me hand it over to Chuck, and I'll get done with the cameras in just a sec.
So I did miss part of the opening, but I did get like Emmett's message there. And I do feel that it is pretty unrealistic today. I do know personally a couple of people who are waiting for marriage and they are in their 30s, and I feel like they're really ruining their chances by not like practicing what it is to be in a relationship. Also, getting married very young is a recipe for disaster, I think, these days. So I think when the Bible was written, the world was a very different place.
Interesting. We can get into some more of the specifics in a little bit. So I should be done with the cameras, and let me get Sunflower and Batman.
Yeah, I think that would be. I think that would be an interesting one to kind of expand off of, because when in those times, I think that they had customs where basically parents would take their child into their own house. They could build onto their house and like build like an extra couple rooms or something like that. But that's not the way it happens today. So it's a little bit more difficult, and therefore deserves extra examination on that.
All right. Thank you so much. Batman, how you doing? You are a Catholic, so I really value your opinion today, specifically as if you feel represented by what was it, Grace? And yes,
Yeah.
Grace was saying. So first of all, welcome, and give us your thoughts on Emmet's opening.
Thank you, Max, and good to see you all, by the way. And yeah, not represented properly at all. She really should have left that whole Catholic business out of it completely.
Fair enough.
Because even her own argument goes against Catholic teaching, like 100%.
Right, but hold on, wait, no, stop. That's in the next one. Now give Emmet.
Right, yeah.
We're doing Emmet now. Hold it, and I'll let you say whatever you want.
Then on that one, I'll just summarize. He was actually closer, like was pointed out before, he was actually closer to Catholic teaching than she was. So, yeah.
Interesting. It would be my understanding that is the case. Sodomy and all of that. But yeah. Sunflower, hello. You know you're on probation, right?
Yes, I do. I have an ankle monitor on right now.
Okay. So
yeah.
Wait, is this Emmet? The Emmet that was just in the debate? Get in here. There's a link right there, and you can come on. Sunflower, sorry.
Okay, yeah, all right. So I have to be honest here. I don't really have a very traditional viewpoint on this, and the best way I could say it is like I might be sympathetic to the idea that premarital sex is less than ideal. It's a tough one for me to say it's like an innate, it's just innately wrong. And I'll be really quick, but I'll try to give two angles here. One being that the two verses I'm familiar with in the Bible that touch on this, that are cited most often, are Thessalonians 4:3, which is the you should avoid sexual immorality, and then Corinthians 6:18, which is flee from sexual immorality. Now, telling people to avoid or flee from something, to me, that's a more sort of that's kind of like a thing where it's almost, the language there is almost like you're probably gonna end up there at some point. If you find yourself there, try to get away, or at the same time, like, try not to venture there. It's not, to me, as much of an abject condemnation as like, under no circumstances ever can you ever do this, or it is absolutely, like cut and dried, black and white. The other angle I would be just that the world we live in now is just completely messed up to such an extent that it is actually literally impossible to even function anymore, because we've been bombarded by so much sensory overload content that, like, it would have been exceedingly easy not to have premarital sex in 2,000 years ago, just because of like pure logistics. Like, even if you wanted to, you probably couldn't. Now it's like, literally imagine you're being just hit with nuclear bombs every 5 seconds of your life with like temptation. It's to the point where it's like we live in this saturated world of temptation. I'm not saying it's good, but I'm saying it's just unrealistic to expect people to be able to avoid temptation to the same purity test that they were held to before. So I would say less than people are not innately,
all I have to say about that is whorehouses were very common in the Roman Empire. I need to go out and take my dog real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, Max?
All right. Yes, no problem. Just mute yourself, just in case. All right. Thank you so much. Ryan, hey, yo. How are you?
You had to travel to the whorehouse, though, right? There wasn't like, you didn't have a computer screen where like the whores were like on your computer every day with pop-up ads in the whorehouse in the Roman Empire, right? Like
that is true,
right? So it's a little different, I think, but I guess
I do worry about some of that branding too. That's why, you have to keep things safe from your children on the internet, because, you don't want, as much as some people might enjoy that content, you don't want your children to engage with it. And then by comparison, you kind of think about, the overall implications of that, right?
But it's totally impossible. You literally can't, you just can't do it. Like, you can probably do it if you if you're literally controlling them when they're on a screen, but like, eventually there's going to be one weird thing that happens. I mean, I think that there's been polling that shows that most kids have been exposed to hardcore pornography by age 11.
Well, I understand. I understand the statistic that she was bringing up, but I will say that a lot of that has to do with how involved the parents are with the other children that they are involving in their lives, and what type of media they're getting access to.
It's not possible. No, it's not possible.
You're kind of side.
Do you have children?
James Mantus
I was a child at one point that had a computer.
You were a child at one point, so you don't know what parents do today.
Yeah,
because I'm a parent today.
You're side-skirting. This is not the issue. This isn't the issue, though. You're talking about certain things when it's talking about sex before marriage. It's not talking about what's on your computer screen. So
hold on, because I think he's making the point that let's call it degeneracy.
It would be a contributor, yeah.
Wait,
but it's still a separate topic.
What is French? What is French for delicious?
But it's a separate
Sir, excuse me. I am the one here, in the middle. When I speak, you are quiet. Is that okay? Thank you. So I think that Sunflower's point is that degeneracy is becoming more ubiquitous, or delicious depravity, as I like to call it. But yeah, that kind of leads you down the route of he's going more along the lines of Grace's argument. Okay, so point Dexter, let me give us your thoughts on Emmet's opening, please.
trying to change my avatar.
Okay. That would be also it's the YouTube avatar, the one that you have to change for that to that's how it gets. If you want some time,
on the important things.
I can give someone else a turn and then you can fix that.
There we go. There we go.
Okay. Dub, thoughts on Emmet's openings, or did I already do you?
Yeah. You move on to the next person. You already came to me.
Oh,
I thought that
sorry,
she
my
shouldn't
mistake.
have. I don't think she should have engaged in this because basically it's like an attorney trying to protect the criminal. It just doesn't really work out well. So
Okay.
The devil's
right.
lettuce has you there, Max.
Yeah,
You forget, right? It's okay. Did you call on me?
Snitch. I was going to call on you, and you started snitching on me. What are you doing?
I didn't mean to. I thought there might be a little bit of a delay. There might be a little delay.
How are you? Did you have fun?
Did I have fun? No, Max.
Yeah.
I didn't have fun. I sat there scratching my head the whole time, being like, "What the hell has my life become?" Anyway, no. Honestly, that was definitely one of those debates where I heard statements that I've never heard before uttered in my life, and I once again the whole time when Emmet gets back, I told him to come over here because we couldn't even get into like the back screen before I was like, okay, all right, I'm dad. You guys don't know what the you're talking about.
It is.
I like 18-year-olds. My God. Holy shite. I don't know. Like maybe this is a diverse panel, but for me, like I've already got a kid in the double digits. I just couldn't imagine her trying to make a decision like that, in the next few years.
Mm-hmm.
Let alone having the expectation of finding somebody in the small pool, which is, the town that you're growing up in. And then on top of that, it's like the earlier you get married, you can talk about all the other statistics that you want, but the earlier you get married, the higher chances that you're going to have some sort of relation within 8 to 10 generations of that person if you grew up in the same area. So you're not giving yourself a great chance of strong genetics. Okay.
That's outlandish.
That's a very interesting point that you're talking about there. So because traditionally, I believe that like the parents were more involved in what their kids' activities were in terms of who they meet, who their daughter's going to marry, who their son's going to marry, things like that. So I believe that that's kind of been lost. And it's like maybe there are kids in your town that would get along with your daughter or son, but you would have to be more involved to be like, well, son, it's like, what do you think? Who do you got to be involved.
Well, this is why I want to talk to Emmet. Because here's the thing. My daughter keeps saying, I like this. Sure, I'll just be honest with you. My daughter keeps saying, I like this girl. So, that might not fall within line of what you're
That's the public schools.
About.
Well,
no, it's not fine, but that's that we're not bullying children and telling them that if you don't fit in this box. And here's the thing I always have to say to people: if you're worried about who people are loving as far as the genitals within their pants, one, you've over-sexualized a group already from the onset. You've over-sexualized them because the kids don't think about sex; they think about relationships. You're thinking about people boning. That's you.
Wait a second.
I thought about nothing but boning. Let me tell you.
Yeah, okay. So that's why a lot of these times we have these discussions. People say, I just don't want it in my face. I don't care what people do in the bedroom. I just don't want to put in my face. Why do I keep hearing that all over the time from the type of statements I'm hearing from you?
Wait a second. Your daughter's like 10 and she says she likes this girl. Well, that's called a friend. That's your best friend. So what?
No. I mean, like ever since she's been little, she's always been like, "Oh, I don't like this guy," and that's why I brought up the point of like, if you thought you were, shut the fuck up. That's why I said, if you thought you were gay, shut the fuck up. If you thought you were gay for 20 years, and all of a sudden you thought you weren't gay, right? Where would that leave you? That's why I brought that up during the debate.
So here's the problem: is when you said your daughter is 10 years old or whatever, and she
I did not
likes
say she's
somebody,
10 years old.
you said she's double digits. So excuse me, but
You
okay.
might not be able to
So
see my gray.
just hold on, wait a second now. So now, when you said she likes another girl, I didn't automatically jump into the bedroom and think about that. I just thought, well, you got to tell her that's just your friend. That's who that is.
I have to tell her that when she tells me that she
Uh-huh.
she has a crush on that person. I
Oh,
have to tell her that that's just your friend.
She doesn't
Come
even know
on,
what a
explain
crush
this.
is.
Explain it. When there are people dropping nukes and bombs on each other's head, you want to be concerned about this fucking bullshit. Come on, explain it.
Well, maybe that's why they're dropping nukes
Yeah.
on each other's heads.
Oh,
Oh,
maybe.
That is
Oh my God.
is
This is
wild.
some
though.
fucking garbage. You got some
That
internet
is-
brain rot going on there. I'm
that
sorry,
is-
Max. I came in with a fire tonight.
I
You
mean,
go ahead and control this
yes.
film. You
Yeah,
go
but
ahead, Max.
You
look at the
are
ethics of non-binary.
you're
Like,
spicy tonight.
non-binary.
All right.
What
So
percentage of kids identify as non-binary? I mean, that's obviously made up. Like, let's just call it what it is.
That's
what?
That's just moving this
No.
conversation into a
social
totally
contagion.
different realm.
Yeah, no, we're not going to do that. Not,
People-
not
people-
tonight. At least not tonight.
It's
So
social
now
contagion on that.
now we're going to do Grace's opening. I think she was she did a fair opening, mostly because she had no birds. That I think that was great. But none of them did presentations. I like a presentation because it helps. It always helps.
You like PowerPoints, Max?
Yes, I love always do a presentation. It helps engagement. It helps people go along with what you're saying. It's 100% effective 100% of the time.
They just don't warn me, okay? That's why I don't like it.
I love it. No,
School.
Isa and I are like huge fans of presentations. It just works. It is the academic, the intellectual thing to do, the better thing to do to enhance your argument.
Yeah, but you and Isa, you warn me. Other people just start screen sharing, and I'm like, oh God,
Yes.
the screens are all messed up. What if?
Yeah, but because we are always, Isa and I have this idea that if you're going to be on a debate and you have those minutes, make sure to just make a little presentation. Doesn't have to be super fancy, but it always it's effective. It just works. So, Dr. J, thoughts on
Grace's opening argument. She did seem to have one prepared. It seemed like she relied on this Catholic doctrine of prudence. So this is a doctrine of which the Protestants, we believe in prudence, I guess, but whatever Catholic version of this prudence she was arguing, we wouldn't talk about it in the same way, I guess. And it seemed like she was going with something like, sometimes you get in a possible situation in which you need to do the lesser of two evils. So like, if the train's going to run over, 5 people or 10 people, which way do you send the train? You have to choose one, you choose the 5 people, and that's not a sin, even though you killed 5 people, whatever, and you get this lesser of two evils. So she's like, well, because of society today, and I can't change society, I wish I could change society. If I would, we'd all get married at 18 and start having kids, and we wouldn't have to worry about this at all. But since I can't change society, the lesser of two evils in society is maybe we'll at least have, maybe some hand jobs or blow jobs or something going on there in order to be able to keep us going on until we get to marriage. So that was her argument. That was interesting. I have never heard a Christian of any kind make that argument, so I enjoyed it a lot. That was great.
That was an interesting take. I resonate with that because it is the thing to do. I believe, because I don't hold a strong attachment to sexuality and marriage, right?
Thou shalt not commit hand jobs.
Yeah. Fugazi 500 said, I was going to hook Max up with my sister-in-law, but I'm not sure he could fix her. I can fix her. Yes. So you should always hook me up. Max B says, people who think they can control their children's sex life are entirely delusional.
I thought children don't have sex lives.
You should PowerPoint presentation. You should Max should
children have sex
show
lives now?
a PowerPoint presentation to Ryan on why PowerPoint is useful. I'll get working on that. Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah,
Does
I
Max
connect learner.
children
is
have
gonna
sex
like that.
lives?
I had a sex life, an active sex life at 14. So
Is that good?
yeah, to me it was great. But I had sexual education. I didn't have a
You're
stigma.
saying, yeah.
I could have sex in my house while
think
my
it's good when
parents were
Sunflower be
there.
grilling you like a guy that's gonna go and
on.
fucking yank it out at the end of this.
Yeah,
whole
I
thing.
have
What's
a great
going on?
healthy.
No, I'm not. I'm
I
responding to
have a great healthy sex life.
At 14,
Sunflower,
you think
yes.
it's possible to engage in like healthy sex?
Yes, because I had sexual education since I was a little kid.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yes, Sunflower. I had. Do you listen to the part that I had sex education
Yeah, I
in
don't
my
think your
house since I
cortex
was
developed enough
around
to know what
like
you're getting
6?
into.
Listen, since I was around 6, I had sex education in my house, in the school,
That's why it's not
and
weird.
in high school. You know, so I was by the time I was 14, I was aware of. I knew what I was doing.
Okay. By
That's
the time
what
you
my
were 14,
uncle
did you get a
said.
tattoo?
Weekend at the
Did you
mountain
get a
house.
What did,
tattoo? at
wait,
14?
well, hold on. What did your uncle do to you,
One at a
Sunflower? This could
time.
explain a lot. This could explain a
Wow,
lot.
Ryan, that's the angle you're taking here. We're
I'm
having
joking,
No,
man.
I'm
Hold
someone
on.
else.
Don't get triggered. Don't get triggered. Don't get triggered, Sunflower.
Dab, don't interrupt so much, please. Hold on.
Well, why do you
What-
think
what did you-
14-year-olds cannot do certain things, but you think it's normal to have sex? Like, you think your prefrontal cortex is developed enough that you fully understand what you're doing when you do that act at 14?
Yeah.
What about anything else, like getting a tattoo or, voting?
I also got a tattoo at 14, yes.
Oh, and you think that should be legal if you're 14?
I had my parents' authorization, so yes.
Well, you didn't need to do that for the sex. Why should you need to
I
do it for
had
sex?
my parents' authorization for the sex too, yes.
What?
Wow.
What? Okay.
Yes.
I'm backing off of this. one. I don't-
14?
My
I'm spe-
parents
I'm
bought
speechless.
me condoms. It's not a controversial thing.
Well, it's one thing to buy condoms, like
All
say
right,
Justin.
all right. So
They-
Well, when
Just
you
because
buy
you
condoms
had-
to your child, that is an
okay.
implicit consent that
Did you ask for
that.
them? Like, did you?
No,
Yes.
that's not necessarily what that is. Now, just because you know how to use a condom doesn't mean it might not necessarily break. So, how many people are you doing stuff with? Because you better watch out. We all have had probably some oopsies happen every once in a while.
I'm here. I'm fine. So yeah, I'm living proof that you can. And my parents knew that I
Show
was
me the
gonna do
medical
whatever the
record,
fuck I
They're
bro. I
pissed,
don't
Max.
believe
Hold on.
It doesn't
They're
matter. Like
pissed,
I know
Max.
that your little box is breaking right now,
They're
but
pissed because you
this
had
is the
game and your parents
reality.
knew it.
This is the reality of my country. A lot of people are like that, and that is the best way because I am healthy. I don't have
That's the
diseases.
best
I
way.
didn't get anyone pregnant because I was
Why didn't you
educated.
start at 13?
Cultural differences
Because
aside,
I didn't
let's
do
get back to
like
Grace.
I got like a thing. Yeah.
Would it have been good? Okay, to start at 13?
It would,
I agree.
for
Let's
me,
go
it would
back
have
to
been the
Grace's
same,
opening.
What about 12?
but it doesn't matter.
Why not 10? Why not?
Why not 10?
It doesn't matter.
Well, it
Hey,
does
I used
matter.
to have got it
It
at 9, bro.
absolutely matters.
No.
We got to draw the line somewhere, right?
Yes, we have to draw the line somewhere, and I guess 14 is fine.
You just
No, hey, I mean, hey, hey, you know what? If your parents are giving you condoms at 9, then that's consent, right? So no big deal.
No one does that.
Well, okay, so what age did they start doing that?
No, you get. I started getting them at like 12 in high school.
Yeah, because your parents are a little odd. Let's just put it that way.
No, that is the reality of North America.
Yeah,
I don't think
that's the reality of having an odd parent. That's a really odd parent this
not
day and
very
age. so-
common.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, there's Max here from Argentina. In Argentina, it's the same thing.
I'm from Mexico. We don't do that in Mexico.
Mexico
What
is
about
way
Europe
more
and
religious
Asia?
than.
What about Europe and Asia?
Yeah, I'm Catholic.
Oh,
In
me
Europe,
too. We
yeah,
got
yeah.
plenty of Catholics on the
High
panel.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
high schoolers don't have sex apparently to these people, Max.
No,
like
Yeah,
that's
that
not
is
what
they
anyone
don't
why.
said.
get, they don't understand. Okay,
That's not what
let's just
anyone
move
said.
on.
That's
They
not
don't
what
They
get
anyone
it.
said high school.
Yeah, all right,
Whoa.
wait.
Will
Let's
ever have sex.
hold on. Let's
Absolutely not.
continue. We can
Not what
get
anyone
into
said.
High,
these discussions in
high
afterwards.
school is
Hold
not
on.
age
Schoolers
12,
get
Let's
more
though.
do
dumb stuff than smart stuff. Let's put it that way.
let's do we did Dr.
High school
J.
is not 12. 12 is not high school age. So we'll stop there.
Oh, you might, yes, but we have 6 years of high school and 6 years of school, and the first year of high school, you're 12.
Why do you think high schoolers aren't tried as adults? Because they make stupid decisions. Their prefrontal
Yeah, I
cortex
know.
isn't fully formed.
We can get into that afterwards. Hold on. Grace is opening, so let's we did Dr. J. Emmet, are you there? All right, no. So Dub, Grace is opening.
I missed Grace's opening, but again, I think Grace is too young to be actually held to some kind of standard where I would be able to basically shred her to pieces like Emmet should have been able to do. But Emmet lost the poll ultimately 60-40 in the end, which I can't believe because that's a layup. It's a layup in my opinion. But again, I wouldn't hold Grace responsible. She's still too young. Catholics tend to kind of have an experience where it's a prodigal son scenario. They kind of move away for a minute and then they'll come back later. So she has plenty of time, I hope, to realize that she should never be representing the no case in this instance, because again, it just sounds like a lawyer that has been hired to represent a obviously guilty. So I hope she realizes that she just don't take stuff like this, because unless you truly believe in it, don't go into the, well, there's all kinds of stuff on our computer screens and this and that. That has nothing to do with it. It's just premarital sex. That's the topic. Take care of the topic at hand. We all know it's wrong. We do fall into the tendency to do that. However, don't mask it. Just tell it for what it is. Like, oops,
when
I
you
messed up,
tell
and then move on.
when you said we all know it's wrong, who's we?
People who read the Bible, they know it's wrong. So there's
Okay.
what I'm trying to say is there's no reason to mask it and try to present it as if you're going to be able to make some kind of excuse for yourself. Just say, yes, I know it's wrong. Yes, I've slipped and I've fallen into that trap. And then that's how you get out of the trap. If you want to mask it and try to pretend that it's okay and tell others it's okay, then you're causing them to fall into that same trap, which is not okay. But again, she's young. I hope she realizes that that is a mistake, and just don't represent anything that you don't actually truly believe in. Don't try to.
How old is she?
I don't know. She looked really
She's
young.
22.
May
Hold
I-
on.
I
I
don't
have to
think
ask
interject
one
really
question,
quick.
just right quick, Dub, right quick. Do you have children?
I'm not going to give out any of my personal information. I'm sorry, sir.
So no. Okay, so no. So you don't. So you think you could argue this better? And secondly, are you female? Do you have the female experience where you birth children?
Ryan, here. Let me put it this way. So earlier, when somebody was saying blowjobs and hand jobs, I saw you giving hand jobs as if you were giving 2 of them. Are you serious? Like, what are you doing here? You don't seem like you're even at all
I
sincere
thought
at
that was
all.
hilarious. I was like, oh my god, this is
I
where
know,
we fucking
yeah, but
Just,
it's not.
this is where we fucking are. Let
For the
Max,
record,
let Max push it on.
I'm pro both.
No.
I'm pro both blowjobs and hand jobs.
I just wanted to say really quick
Ryan-
in defense
Ryan-
of Mexico.
I'm
really
allowed
quick,
to think that things are fucking
please.
hilarious
Bye,
when they're
Dr.
being
J.
mentioned on
Yes.
screen. Go ahead.
Thank you for
Ryan, if I
dropping
was
by.
allowed to swear like you're allowed to swear, bro, this would be very entertaining for certain people.
You are
But-
allowed to swear as much as you fucking want on this show.
You can
Words
fucking
have no
swear.
power. You can swear all you want. Have you never
Hey,
seen
Ryan,
me
you know how
interact
much of
with
a-
Blessed
You know
Thee?
how much of a complete sausage fest guy that
Absolutely
you seem like?
fucking pussy.
Okay, I just wanted to say
Yeah,
really quick.
Go
yeah,
ahead,
it's
go
a
ahead.
sausage fest, except when the ladies come here.
Okay,
Yes.
I just wanted to reply.
You
to the
know we have a
comment that
bunch
Max
of
Beaton
lady
said.
friends that
A real
come here all
hard
the time.
man. You got a real hard man here, Max.
Yeah,
Ryan, I
like,
think your parents probably taught you stuff at 12 that your
Yes,
dad
I
did
wanted
something
to
to
speak.
you.
Max
So,
V says, one quick Google
Hold on.
search.
I was gonna say I gotta hold on. He wants to
I'm
talk
trying
about
to
what I was
reply to
learning
that
at 12.
comment.
He's full of shit. What I was learning at 12 was how to actually keep a family warm because I had to go out in the woods and learn how to use a chainsaw. What were you doing that was so manly? Do tell.
bro, I don't know. You were sitting there like acting like you
No,
were
do tell.
stroking
No.
your cock.
Do tell. Go back to 12. Go back to
You were
12 and tell
probably
me what
keeping
the
your
fuck.
dad
No.
warm in some
Go back
kind
and
of
tell
way.
me. Go back and tell me what the fuck
Ryan
you were
and
doing
Dub,
at
settle
12
down
that
real
was
quick. Let me
so
just-
manly and providing for your family.
Ryan, I'm asking for sincerity in the conversation. That's all. Like, don't
I
be
point
such an
something out
asshole.
real
No, your bullshit is what you are. Go
Oh
ahead,
no,
Max.
but wait, I'm sorry, you can't. You're new here. You can't ask for stuff.
Let me point something out real quick. That last super chat, Max V.
I'm trying to reply to
This
that.
one, yes, Max V says, Ryan, why are you not
No.
moderating this, bro?
Can I
Yeah,
respond to the one
that's
about
it.
the teen pregnancy in Mexico that he tried to dunk
Oh
with?
no, that wasn't a super chat. Yes, hold on, but
Hello?
let me read it. One quick Google search says Mexico has the highest rate of teen pregnancy among the 35 countries in the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development.
Okay,
Let me
can I
respond-
reply to
yes.
that really quick?
Wait,
When
wait,
you
wait.
preach,
Let
when you
me-
preach
let me-
abstinence only, that's what
Okay.
happens.
Well,
That's
okay,
the
but let me
point I've been
respond to
trying
that.
to make.
Just give
I
me
haven't
1
been able to
second.
speak this whole time.
Just give me one second. Remember what his original point was. He said, in my country, Mexico, we're not giving condoms out to kids at 12.
That's what I'm
So-
trying to say. Yes.
So
that.
if he thinks that high teen pregnancy is a response to the original claim, which was, no, we're not just giving condoms out to kids at 12, well, you've actually just proven his point and not debunked him.
No, that's
Sorry,
not
Max,
how that works.
Max V, you're not able to track points. You just have an
No,
emotional.
no, you just you
Yep.
no, that's not how
I'm
that
right.
works. You are
I'm
wrong.
right.
No,
Max,
you're wrong.
I'm not trying
You're
to
wrong. If
dispute
you
or
have a
respond
high
to
rate of teen
statistics.
pregnancies because you don't have sexual education.
What? That's not. What did I just say? Tell me what I just said.
The opposite.
No, I said the claim was that in my country, Mexico, we don't give out condoms to 12-year-olds. What Max thinks was a response to that somehow was, well, then why does Mexico have the highest rated teen pregnancy? So what are
No,
you
it's
responding
not
to?
why. It's not why. It's because they do not give condoms and they don't have
Oh,
sexual
okay.
education. They have high rates of teen
Hey,
pregnancy.
like I'm
That
the
is
guy that
Wow.
mentioned
the
being
Well,
from
they have
Mexico.
rampant
Can I
Yes,
gangs.
just,
They have
what I was
rampant
saying?
gangs.
Yo,
yes.
Rampant
So
Hold on.
gangs.
nothing's
Max,
going.
Here, hold
Hold
on.
on.
We don't do that in
all of
America
these people,
either.
all
you
these
know.
people are against
And
teenage
America has-
pregnancy, but they are also against you, Max, learning how to put a condom on a banana.
I feel like I can't
Indeed.
Yeah,
get
no,
a
they're
word in.
so
At 6 years old.
No,
Right,
at
Max?
He
six-
didn't say 6
No,
years
wait,
old.
Max,
no.
he said 6 years
fucking
old.
listen. No,
Wait,
you
Max,
stop
Max,
straw
Max,
manning and listen.
Wait,
Brian,
don't.
wait.
Number one,
Max.
don't yell at. Hey, you don't get to yell at me here. Just so you know.
Oh,
Uh,
I'm
at
sorry. You're
six-
so indignant, Max.
At 6 years. I love that he's trying to do this. Ryan, can we
I'm not
schedule
yelling,
a
huh?
debate with
Sure,
me
you're
and
so indignant,
Emmet?
Max.
I'm not yelling, right?
No,
okay.
what I'm saying is, at 6 years old, you
Mhm.
don't get taught that. You get
don't?
taught no, of course not. At 6 years old,
Oh.
you get taught that your private parts are yours, that how other people don't have the right to touch you, more like safety
You do
stuff.
speak Spanish, right?
Yes.
Do you want me to go ahead and get you the sex ed for 6 years old in Argentina?
Sure.
Would they teach you about how good it is to give out oral as a 6-year-old? How
Sure,
you should
yes,
have
give me-
some
yes.
kind.
No,
That's
yes.
really-
Okay,
Pull it
let's
up.
go.
Pull
it
it
up.
up.
Oh
Okay,
my God, this is
may I
amazing.
say
This has
something?
been a
School
great
Must have
channel.
read that.
I wanna
Yes.
see this
He
school
seems like a guy who can
curriculum.
handle
School
two of those in his
curriculum,
mouth.
I mean, like this whole time, I'm the
Who-
one that comment was in reference to. So can
Yes,
I-
please
okay,
go.
thank you.
If Mexico has that school
Thank you.
curriculum, that's messed up. But go
All
ahead.
right,
I'm
thanks.
sorry, I'm-
Okay,
It does have a school curriculum.
okay. Ready? All right.
Yes.
So Max, I wasn't disputing your thing. I was actually agreeing with you. I was making the
Oh,
point.
okay.
Yes, I was making the point that a lack of sex education is a problem, and that's why there's a lot of teen pregnancy. I said from the beginning
Oh,
that
sorry.
yeah, I mean, like I said from the beginning that it's unrealistic to expect people to wait for marriage. That was my argument. I just mentioned being from Mexico because in Mexico, like parents don't really talk to their kids about sex because it's overly religious. If you'd let me say it, you know what I mean?
Right.
All right, I'm done. Thank you. Your turn.
No, sorry. You must have got caught in the crossfire. I'm sorry, but yes, we agree that.
I want to sympathize. I wanted Chuck to talk earlier because everybody else here was, going off and
Well, okay.
But Chuck, I was in Mexico not too long ago, and I definitely noticed that you can buy alcohol even in Walmart on any day except for the Sabbath.
This is gonna be awesome. So Emmet's link is a link from X, so we're going to watch it together, shall we?
Emmett.
This is gonna be so good.
Emmet, did you give us something? Did you give us something that's part of a school curriculum?
Yeah. But the thing that
and you can go ahead. Wait, Max.
The thing that you don't know is that I'm from Uruguay, and I have people from Argentina, right there in the side.
It's a question for me.
It's going to be fucking great.
I'll answer your question, Ryan. Yes, the whole book. They go through the whole book in the stream. So it's unfortunate that you don't speak Spanish. I understand it, but if you go ahead, open it.
No, but I do.
Go through the whole thing. You can see the whole thing. They go through the whole book on stream. I'm trying to find another one because I know they have one for like 6-7 years old. This is for 5-year-olds, by the way.
We had so many questions. So me and Emmet, we were actually debating in the after show a little bit. We were just having a little back and forth. It was kind of fun. But I do have to ask, do you think that any type of sexual education can help prevent kids from being abused and also be able to vocalize when they are being abused?
I agree with that.
In reality,
thank you.
Okay.
That's good.
Can I answer the question?
Who agreed with it? Was it you, Emmet? I'm sorry.
No, it wasn't me.
It was Chuck.
You didn't agree with that? You don't agree that when kids know what is a sexual abuse, they are more able to talk about it?
Instead of you being indignant?
I'm not being indignant. I'm just asking you a question.
How can you not agree with me? Okay. Let me answer the question. Okay. From psychological studies, we know that kids have a reaction, especially to sexual acts, that is very common, and people know what kind of reaction it is. And you can actually, that was one of the first ways that they started to identify SA victims, right? It's by their reaction to these kind of issues, especially when they happen to them. So one of the things that we've seen with this kind of education is that they stop having those kind of reaction, and it becomes harder to identify it. So I don't think
bullshit. Give me the study. Bullshit.
Yeah, you must study.
Knowledge
you're going to
right?
make up.
Hey, Max.
Don't,
I made the claim.
I am the one who yells.
We're going to go through a video according to you, okay? I answered
yes,
the
we are
question.
going to. I have it shared right now.
No.
Dude, you should probably get familiarized with who you are talking to, because
I know who that is. His name is He's libertarian. Do you know who that is?
Argentina, o sea, a niños de 2 a 5 años se les está enseñando esto. Yo pregunto, educación sexual desde los primeros años. En ese libro no solamente enseñan a las nenas a usar un espejo para ver su vagina, sino que también tiene frases un poco incómodas.
Can you pause and help us out here, Max? What's going on?
Hold on, I'll summarize.
I'll translate it if you want. So the whole thing says that this is for kids 2 to 5. They are teaching this to anybody from 2
and this
years
is proof
to 5 years.
Right here. This post on X. This is definite proof right here. I'm believing it.
Oh, you don't have to. As I said, you can just go ahead. They go ahead through the whole book. It's a book that is given by the state, because you might not know this, but they have state-mandated education all the way to university in Argentina. Right, Max?
Yes.
Yes, awesome. Okay, so this is the book they gave to kids from 2 to 5.
Yes, and it says...
So what is it actually saying? Don't touch your ding-dong after being in the dirt?
No, that's not what it says. It says encouraging girls to look at their genitals, and it says in this specific area, it says, doesn't it feel good to touch yourself? So it's the opposite of what you were thinking.
2 to 5. You're defending 2 to 5.
And then they go into detail about how to have little kids.
This is sick stuff. This is sick. This is sick.
I mean, I have to be honest.
So it doesn't encourage it. It doesn't encourage it. It doesn't. It just acknowledges that exists. And
No, it says, isn't it fun to
Hold on,
touch
hold on.
yourself and play?
It
We
doesn't-
acknowledge
wait,
that this
it doesn't
existed.
It doesn't wait. It doesn't encourage it.
There's
Are
other
you
people
kidding
talking.
me? How
Why are
dumb
you
are
guys
you?
Hold on.
Just say
There-
it's bad.
Hold on.
Like,
no,
why
when I
I
was
don't
growing
think it's
up,
bad. It's
You're scrambling
educating.
to cope with this
Hold-
insanely fucked up.
hold
What
on.
a cope. This is the cope
Hold on.
session that I was
What on
expecting.
earth? This is
You-
sick stuff. Sick.
No, what's sick
Goodbye.
is your
You keep
over sexual.
yelling.
Hold on. What's
Goodbye.
sick is your over sexualization of what kids do, not understanding that it's
Oh,
sexual.
I'm the sick
and we
one
apply.
now.
No, we apply
You're
it
the sick
as
one.
sexual.
No,
No, we apply it as
bastard.
sexual
No,
because
you're the
we're
sick
adults.
one.
I'm
We
the
apply
sick
it
one.
as sexual because we're adults
You
and we
are a
look at it that
mental
way. But
idiot.
kids
Wow.
are just like, oh, that feels funny. That
It
feels
talks-
good. Whatever. Here's
It
the
talks
No,
about
right.
they don't
Ryan.
understand
Don't
that.
It goes
stuff
on.
like
let me
this.
let me
You're a
tell you this.
Fucking lunatic, brother.
Not only
Let me
that,
tell you this,
but
Ryan.
Into an
It,
institution.
you're
damn
saying,
it.
oh, it's just about.
Wow,
looking
I
at
love how
yourself.
they're losing their
Yeah.
shit.
can you
Hey,
mute
Ryan,
them for
Ryan.
1 second so I can
Ryan,
explain
2 to
them?
5.
Let me go ahead and
Two.
debunk the dumb shit, okay? Because it
That's
goes on.
crazy.
and it goes
Sunflower,
on
like
how the
you know
sexual
you're on
act works.
This is
probation. Like
so insane to
seriously,
try to
shut up.
communicate
It
with
just
them.
goes into how the sexual act works, Ryan.
No,
Okay.
You do
here's the thing
understand
is that
that
when I was
teaching
a
2 to
child,
5
no, shut the
Bro,
fuck up for 2
teaching
seconds.
2 to
You
Can
help
we let
yourself.
Ryan talk for a
6-year-old
moment?
If I say
Teaching
when I was a
2
child one more time, I'm gonna actually
2 to
implode.
6-year-old
Shut the fuck
this
up.
kind
Hold
of
on.
stuff.
Hold on. When I was a kid, okay, when I was a child, I'm gonna say it again. We were not allowed to have electric toothbrushes. Okay. And it was explained to us very simply that some people were using them for things they shouldn't be doing with them because they vibrated. Okay.
Okay.
Guess
and?
who was doing that?
What kind of dumb
Children.
act is that?
Guess what? It makes you fucking uncomfortable because you're adults. And yes, that's uncomfortable when kids are like, yeah, that feels good. And you're like, yeah, don't do that. That's not sanitary.
It's
Okay.
That's
I get it.
what
You don't have you've never had to
What are you-
deal with any
Yo,
shit
dude.
because you're
You're a
fucking
pedo.
what?
What
What's your
age,
deal?
Ryan? At
I
what
don't,
age?
like, think about the hill you're
All
dying on
right.
right
When
now.
I was what? When I was what? I
All
think I was
Dub,
7. I
hold
think it
on
was
one
7
second.
when they were like, no more electric toothbrushes
Hold on
for
one
y'all.
second. Dub just
No,
got
the
banned
little girls was
because
7? Is that what you're saying?
he.
When I was
Can
7,
Can
we were
I?
not allowed to have toothbrushes.
Hello.
Sorry, Max.
Ryan,
Dub,
Ryan, what a
Dub,
cope, Ryan.
Shut
Dub,
up. Let Max talk.
buddy. Do you know like this box means something? When I speak, you shut up. That's a rule. Dub got banned for I don't know, just randomly saying you are a P thing. So yeah, don't do that here. No one is talking about sexualizing children, but you have to
Yes,
teach
you
them
actually are. I mean,
stuff.
you really
Who's
are.
sharing
This is my
this?
slide. You guys see my slide here?
No,
Yes.
we're talking
So
about
this is
disgusting
Uruguay.
adults that don't understand anything about reality.
Why are you
because
showing
they
the book
just
about it?
This is
Why are
Uruguay.
you showing the book
It is
about
a
it?
shithole fake country, and we don't need to be listening to people who live in places like this.
You're on my show, loser.
Also, Uruguay has a higher teen pregnancy rate than USA by a huge margin. It has above the world average. It is 35 per 1,000. What are you talking about? Oh, in my country, we have a low teen pregnancy rate. You have a very high teen pregnancy rate.
Yeah,
So
we
that
have
was
because
wrong.
It's
Like, you just
on the
lied about that.
yeah on the that high teen pregnancy rate is on the lower echelons of society, in the middle class, with the
Okay,
people that
well,
have
what
access to be more resources we have, and also
That's the worst cope
it's-
ever. Like,
it's a religious component of the population, the 45% of Christians and other religions that have that rate
all their
of
fault.
teen-
Yeah, like
of
what-
teen
like,
pregnancies.
what is this, dude?
But hold on, because I need to dunk on
You tried to say
this
USA
guy
has a high
a
teen
little
pregnancy
bit.
rate. It's less than half of Uruguay.
I never said it. I said,
Yes, you did.
what did I
Rewind the
say
tape.
about the pregnancy rate?
I said in USA we don't give out condoms to 12-year-old, and you were like, "Oh, well, USA has a high teen pregnancy rate." Nowhere near Uruguay's. I mean, come on, like
That you again, first
I don't
world.
think they know how babies are made in Uruguay, to be honest with you.
They
Oh
teach
really?
them
The best country in South America is we don't know. We have a Trump Tower.
That's
You
just budget
dumbass.
Miami. We have
Oh,
You
Miami.
dumbass.
the greatest.
Some objective
You
reality now.
dumbass. You fucking dumbass.
Aren't we just hammering on the most important shit?
Yeah.
I'm
It
just
definitely
happy.
Fucking waste my time some more. Why don't you?
it's not the best country in South America. Like that's just
It is objectively the best country in South America.
Yeah, because Trump.
Well,
has a
that's
people
like
there.
saying
That's the
like,
reason why.
the best midget basketball player.
That's
Like,
exactly how you
This-
should feel about
See,
that country.
this is what we were. This is where we
And
were
now,
going. This is what we.
it's
got.
like, I love it. I love this. All right, open discussion. I think she had some interesting resources when it came to the open discussion portion of the debate. I think her argument is strong, and I don't care either way. I mean, she sides with my personal views.
Degeneracy, right?
Degeneracy is good, yes.
Yeah, you care, so you care.
Yes.
At least try to say that you care. That
Yeah,
would
I
be-
mean,
Max,
you can't
Max,
tell
Max,
me you can't tell me degeneracy is bad when you've never had sex.
Hold on, Max. There's no point.
Sure, I
in giving
never
that.
had it.
These people don't believe that if you scratch an itch, it feels good. So,
I
like,
No,
I
like,
have never had sex in my life, Max. Never.
yeah, I believe it.
I
At this
am
point,
sure.
like,
Yes.
I'm glad you know all of that about me. You dumb.
I'm sorry, but
I
aren't
told
you?
this before.
Wait. Because the
you
thing
know
is that
everything about
is-
me. Tell
if
me
you
more
are-
about me, Max. I'm a
if you-
filter leader too, by the
I'm
way.
gonna tell you something right now. If you had sex and you're advocating for waiting until marriage for sex, then you're a hypocrite. So take your pick. You are a virgin, or
I'm
are
a
you
virgin.
a hypocrite?
I'm a
Which
virgin,
one do
Max.
you like the
Mm.
most?
Sex, Max.
Well,
it's amazing. I'm a monk
It's,
too.
it's not necessarily
Answer
that
the
point that they're-
question.
well,
Oh, I
Answer
answered
the question.
I told you
Max,
already.
Max, but if he's never had sex and he's never masturbated, you're dealing with a very pent up individual.
Oh wow,
Be
yeah.
careful. Be careful
To
here.
the,
no,
to
no
the
need to be
moon.
rude like
I,
that.
can, I like to go to places and just take my anger with guns. Oh no, that's not me. That's
But wouldn't you agree that
trendy.
early exposure to sex can
but the
give
other
you-
thing though too is that it could also just be the fact too that they regret it and they basically are teaching others like, yeah, don't go and do this stuff. I regret it. Like, when people do drugs.
Do you know
and
anything
later on
about
they're like,
Christianity?
yeah.
Do
Do you know
do
anything
I-
about Christianity? Yeah, I'm asking
do
you.
you want to debate me on it?
I'm asking you. Do you know anything?
Do
about
you want to debate me on it?
It's a yes or no question.
Yes,
Do you
and I'm
know
asking
anything?
you, do you want to
Yes.
debate me on Christianity?
So if a person
Would you
rejects-
like to get your butt kicked on
So once a
your
person
knowledge
comes
of your
to
own
Christ-
religion?
Max, you already know this is low hanging fruit. Behave yourself.
I know, but I
Wouldn't
mean,
you
I
agree-
don't like
comes to
people
Christ-
puffing their chest at me. So
When a
answer the
person
question.
Yeah, so when a person comes to Christ and they repent, okay, and they know the error of their ways, is that hypocrisy to you?
Huh?
Is that hypocrisy to you?
It is because they're supposed
It
to
is, yeah.
repent to me.
Oh,
And
oh.
when they do, they get results.
It's my preference.
Yeah, the reference.
Preferences?
Oh, look, another ortho bro. I cooked one of
Ooh.
your fellow ortho dummies yesterday.
No,
I'm kind of
listen,
full.
Max, I
with
enjoy.
ortho
Listen,
bro
I
today.
love when I talk to people like you, and I can just use your worldview. Okay, it's my preference versus your preference.
No, you can't. You have no idea. You would lose so
Yes, I
bad.
have all. I
A
have all.
dummy, a
Do you wanna go?
dumbass, a
Let's go.
dumbass
Let's debate.
tried to, a dumbass
Let's
tried to
debate,
that-
Max.
a
I love
dumbass
when I
tried
talk to
that very
people like
same-
you.
Let's
The
debate my
start of a
preference.
straw man.
Adamas tried this strategy with me last night. It didn't go well for
Let's-
him.
Let's
Question.
debate my preference versus your preference.
Wouldn't you say that maybe
that is reductionist and wrong.
wouldn't
That
you
is my
agree?
preference. That's your preference to say that. My preference is that it's not.
Yes,
Wouldn't-
and you would claim objective morality and you don't, because
I'm not
number
claiming
one,
anything.
I'm going to
claiming
debunk
my preference.
I'm going to debunk your three arguments.
I am
because
claiming
this is
my
a
preference.
comeback tactic because
preference
you know you can't defend your position, so you have
Listen,
to make a mockery of my position, do a
We're
straw
gonna
man.
go ahead preference versus preference.
Yes,
right?
but okay, if you
Oh,
give
okay.
me the
There
argument,
you go.
where do you take your morality from?
For my preference. I
Wouldn't you
prefer it.
agree?
That is
wouldn't
not my
you agree-
argument.
Listen, quick
My
question.
argument is that I prefer my morality and that I think my preference is right and your preference is wrong. What is
Okay,
your
can I
argument?
ask
That
a
is
quick
not a
question?
moral argument.
What is your argument?
This is a
That is
tangent.
not a moral argument. Yeah.
Tell me your argument.
I asked you what your position was. You don't
I
get
told
to
you what
throw
is my
that back
position.
to
My
me.
position is my position is my preference.
All right.
Well,
quick-
I
that
have a
is just
question.
a mockery. That shows how
quick question.
unprepared you
I
Tell
want
are.
to
me-
jump in.
tell
Max,
me
if you
yours.
would let me.
Yes.
I'm so sorry, Sunflower, but we were having a discussion beforehand. His Eminence. All right, with I like your updated name. You know, it's better than your on stage name.
It's a cult. It's a cult leader. I have to be a cult leader.
You were saying about being a breadwinner. So a breadwinner is generally, described as somebody who makes the most income from year to year to year. Now, for me, I'm a freelancer. You know, I work here on YouTube. I do the rock star thing and scream at people for money. And my main claim to fame is, I ended up buying some repo land. Well, I shouldn't say I ended up. A couple of times I've done this, fixing it up because I have the skills with a chainsaw, because I was raised as a man, unlike all these manly men in this fucking chat.
So you're using your manpower to do something.
Kids young,
and here's the thing: is that I've sold it for a lot of money, and then when I've done that, my job then becomes I'm home with the kids. I clean this place. I maintain the house.
Okay.
Sounds like you're proving it to yourself than anyone else.
I'm not the breadwinner at the end of the day. I am not.
So you didn't make any money by doing all
I didn't. I did make money, but the thing is that I have not made the consistent money that has kept our account like this. My wife is the person who's an accountant who makes buco money compared to me being a musician and a freelancer. So your claim was
let's go off topic at this point.
No. I want to because we were talking about beforehand. I want to shift. I want to shift because me and Emmett were talking about this beforehand. What is wrong with me not being the breadwinner?
This is not the topic anymore. Later, guys. Have a good night. Yeah, whatever.
I'll go on.
Yeah, you added so much.
Sunflower, like it wasn't about him. It's like it's not about me. No.
He added so much, Max. I
love that.
Let me tell you this. I am so happy that you have a family that you can rely on and you have kids with, and that your wife is willing to give all of these leniency to you, and that you have that option. And I'm glad for you. It's great. I don't see any problem with it.
She's very happy to come home to a clean house, His Eminence, just as you would be happy to come home to a clean house made by your wife who might be working a night shift. You're shifting this, okay? Because what we talked about in the little after show was about a man having to always step up to that plate. Now I feel like I've stepped up to a plate, but it's a different plate than what you would expect because I am the mother in your opinion.
No,
because I bring the kids to every event that they need to go to while mom works.
I don't believe that. Okay, you're putting things in my mouth.
All right, maybe I've strawmanned you, but what do you mean?
Yeah, you strawmanned me a little bit.
What does it mean to be the breadwinner in your view? Basically, and also, I don't like you're telling me that I'm strawmanning you, but you said a lot of things during the debate that I feel like you've already saddled yourself with a lot of stuff here. But
that's
go
fine.
ahead.
Like we can go ahead and go into my ideas in the debate. I don't mind. But we're talking about something different, okay? When I don't care to tell you and police how a man should act in the marriage. I don't care about that. I think as long as you have a wife and your wife is okay with it, most of the time it's going to be fine. The thing that I would say is that in most cases, the one that's going to be making the most money and would have the skills to make the most money is probably going to be the man, and the one that's going to have the position to go out, especially while the wife is pregnant and is in a vulnerable position, is the man, and he should be the one stepping up, especially in those cases. Once they do that, and if they find a better solution, they can go ahead and have any solution they want, as long as they enjoy being together.
Max, I'm going to trigger him. I'm going to trigger him so bad. So I
try it. I want to see the trigger.
All right, go ahead. I'll tell you exactly what it is. So I had 2 kids, and I decided that's that. I'm not going to ask my wife to go get some surgery. I'm not going to ask her to be on birth control so that we can keep having a sexual relationship, which is part of our relationship. I am just going to go get snipped because there's less of a risk of cancer to me. I had 2 kids. That's fine. And if I need another, I will adopt. What's stopping you from adopting, by the way?
Me, I'm not married, and I don't think I should have a kid. It's a family, you know.
Yeah.
A family of one is still a family, though.
No, a family of one is not a family. I think.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
So okay,
If a
You-
man
Oh,
dies in a car accident,
it's
is
not.
that woman
Yes,
it's not a
of
family?
course,
Okay.
of course, Max.
I
Okay?
love this ortho bro.
If
that
you have
words
one
don't mean
arm
shit
and
to them.
only one
We can
leg,
be
and you
sweeter.
can
We can be
barely
sweeter.
breathe, are you alive?
Yeah,
can be
if you
sweeter
lose a
than this.
leg, you're no
And
longer
then
a
you-
human. That is
Hold on,
if
hold on.
you
We
are-
can be way, we can be,
No,
we
it's
can be
exactly
way
what you
nicer, guys. Guys, we can be way nicer. His Eminence, I have to ask.
Don't
do
need
you
to
believe? Do
call
you
me that.
believe that there is no child out there that could benefit from having a home with yourself, where you could take care of them and show them, like, here are the games that I enjoy, and here, you know? Do you think
Believe-
there's no value in that unless they are absolutely blown your load into some lady? Do you think you couldn't adopt a kid and say, I can bring joy to other humans
Listen,
that
I
are
would
not
probably
my blown
help.
load?
I would be more than willing to help a kid, okay, and go ahead and have bring him into a better position if it's possible for me. I don't think it's a better position for me alone to do it. I think they need a mother.
And
It's very
if you
important. that a
adopt
mother-
that, if you adopt
Can
a
I go
kid,
ahead and
it
finish?
would
Okay, I
be
can't finish.
your-
Let me know, Max. Whenever you're ready to let me finish.
If you adopt a kid, it would be your. Yeah, you will be their parent, so definitionally your family. So just wanted to clear that up.
There's a sexy motherfucker that just walked his way in here.
Oh
and
my
we cannot
God!
ignore.
Yes. How are
Oh
you,
my
my
goodness.
friend? Leo and his robe.
I have one question. I have one question for Emmett.
Everybody's pregnant now that you walked in here. Why did you do this?
Yes, ladies, hide. Yes, Leo, go ahead.
Just got one question for Emmett. You just blow in from Stupid Town?
Here I am trying to do my best, Leo. To
Leo
That's
just gave like, yeah, the spiciness transfer from Ryan. Who,
Yeah, no,
like,
he's
comes
got
down
an
as
accent,
he's
and I
trying to
recognize
moderate.
it. It's people from dumb Fuckistan that speak that way.
Where are you or from originally? Because I'm from Uruguay. Emmet? Yo.
All right. Well, I'll
I
tell you. I'm Nova
I
Scotian.
love
through
that
and
he
through.
thinks that this is making him look good.
Now,
That is wild.
you-
I have notes. Hold
hold
on.
on.
I have
I
notes.
gotta. Leo, you come from oh man, where is it from? Not
The dumb
Indianapolis. Where are you
Fuckistan, that
from?
was hilarious. That was so good.
You want to say Ohio, don't you?
Ohio. Thank you. There
That's
you go.
not it.
No, I
That's
do
not it.
because
That's
I
what
thought it was.
That's what
Because
wanted to
you're
say,
always posting
but that's
pictures
not
of all the
right.
fucking fields,
Iowa.
right?
All right.
Iowa.
Wait.
Thank
Let's
you.
go. I have
They
some
have
notes.
fields too, right?
So she was
of course.
generally more persuasive. I think her argument was way better constructed, but I have some notes. Like, for example, it gave me the impression that for a moment she was thinking that only men masturbate. So, he ran away. Oh my God.
He did.
Can set up a debate with me and him on MD Ryan. Can we?
I didn't hurt his feelings, did I?
I want double pay if you're gonna. No,
Come on.
I think you did. I think you did, Leo. You showed up.
Oh,
and you had to
look,
run.
you guys are. He's crying it on. Hold on. You guys are disrespectful. Fuck you.
A crown, in the words of my favorite Futurama character, Bender Rodriguez, bite my shiny metal ass.
Bite my shiny metal ass. Anyway,
To be honest, it was both ways too. So
honestly, I hosted you, and I don't think anybody could say I until the very end when I told them about my position.
Yeah.
I don't think they had any idea that I was an atheist because they both acted very surprised.
Yes. Yeah.
And I only said that as like James is the Christian of the channel, and they kind of just figured out the rest because they were like, you're white, so you're not a Muslim because they're racist, so they couldn't figure that. So they just said you're an atheist. Oh man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to racialize them, but yeah, no. That.
Pablo says, Max, let me allow the immaturity of laughing about the prefix ortho. That's a joke that only him, me, and Max understand. Because it's a double entendre on the. It just means orto in Spanish, in our kind of Spanish, means like the butt or the butthole, kind of depending on the situation. So it's a very funny pun, Paule. I appreciate that every time, and they don't know about it, which makes it even funnier because it's like the anus bros. Love that. So, and I want to ask you, Batman, because she gave me the impression that she kind of thought that only men masturbate. She also gave me the impression that sex is a thing men do to women. And her argument, I understand that it was more on the, okay, this is the reality today. We have to face this. And sometimes it doesn't align and one has to do a little bit of massaging. But would you like to give us some specifics on on why you disagree with Grace theologically?
Because the church doesn't teach anything she said. If you're even in a situation too where it's like, oh well, I could choose the lesser of two evils. Either I flick my bean on camera or I show him my tits. Which one should I do? Neither is the option. You log off.
Okay.
That was one example that she had given where even the church does it. The fact that she even brought up being Catholic in the first place is what just completely ruined her side of the argument, because everything she said was not in line with Catholic teaching at all. So what she was literally doing, especially from that Catholic perspective, is she was giving into lust, not actually following, church teaching, but her own desires.
Okay, and the one question: the doctrine of prudence, does that hold any kind of weight?
Not even,
do you think,
in terms of like in terms of like a relationship or whatever, where I could wank him or whatever, and then like it'll be fine like before marriage. It was kind of something I put in the super chat, which
no like the way that she kind of used the doctrine of I lost
she
the
was
word,
not
I'm
using
sorry.
that properly. Prudence,
Yes, sorry. Yeah, so do you think that kind of justifies, because her argument, it was very well built and that kind of stuff, so I don't generally disagree, but I wanted to ask very specifically, like theologically it doesn't resonate with you, right?
not at all. Not with
okay.
not
no
with
I understand. I
understand.
All right. We have Grid Motorsports, and if I'm not mistaken, I've seen you on Sarah's channel, right?
Yeah, I've actually debated on Modern Day Debate as well.
I do not remember that, but welcome. How are you? Did you watch the debate today?
I actually just finished up my debate show, and I rated you with my with what was left of the crowd.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. And I actually debated Christianity versus human secularism. I took the debate when Andrew Wilson wasn't able to make it against, I believe his name was Mark Reed. And so I did that debate with him.
Oh, okay.
That was a couple of months back. And I actually, so I didn't actually get to see all of the debate between Emmet and Grace. I was actually hoping to catch Emmet. He must have just left.
He got a little bit triggered because did some stuff that people know you shouldn't do here.
I'm sorry. What did he not know?
Yeah, he was an asshole, so I kind of was an asshole too, and he kind of got a little bit offended because it's my house. So
sure. I'm not going to stay too long myself. I've got to get some sleep. I'm going to get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning and go fishing.
All right, let me ask you, on the face of the debate itself, where you said you debated Mark Reed subbing for Andrew, so you're probably Orthodox. I think I'm assuming correctly, right?
No, I'm not. I'm a Baptist, actually.
Baptist, okay. Where would you stand in this debate? Grace was arguing from a very fringe Catholic position that premarital, not full, penetration. She was talking about some sexual games kind of a thing. She wasn't like going too crazy.
Did she mention soaking?
No, not soaking, but she kind of went like, hand jobs, blow jobs.
Yeah.
I show you
for that soft. Yeah. So she changed her argument. Yeah. She's been actually refining her argument all week in the voice chat and on Modern Day Debate and other places. And I think that she dialed back her original argument quite a bit. I still don't agree that I don't agree with Grace's point. I think that Grace is really trying to redefine what the behavior and the sin actually would be. And originally the entire debate evolved around the fact that her and her father maintain that premarital sex is in modernity somewhat moral, or could be considered moral. And of course, Emmet pushed back on that. I don't know what argument Emmet used. I've heard him talk about it some, but I would think that Emmet made a pretty logical, cogent argument. I was busy. I wasn't able to watch the whole debate, but I believe that Emmet probably made a better, more cogent and theological argument than Grace was able to.
Hold on. I have to ask, why do you naturally assume that?
Why do I naturally assume what?
He's probably familiar with
why do you assume that the argument was made better having not watched it?
Because I've watched both of them debate this several times.
Well, I had to ask what is the specific points that they present that are not compelling on one end.
Well, Grace generally, and again, she's been refining this all week, so she may have added to it, and it sounds like she did, because the last time I heard her try and make the point, it was actual, actual sex before marriage was not an immoral act and would be okay in modernity. So I think she probably fine-tuned that argument a little bit and detuned it back to saying basically that, we're not talking about full sex, we're talking about, no penetration or whatever. And which I would find an interesting dodge, because at that point, is it actual sex? As we would define it. So I would think.
Does anyone want to help clarify for me where I moderated it? Did she ever clarify that point? I just felt like
I understood.
I felt like she said that there was like a sin to engaging to that behavior, and she had said, even agreeing with him, that there could be some ability to repent for that under the Christian worldview.
Sure. Okay.
But as for whether it was completely reprehensible, I think that was, I don't think either debater really touched that.
No, the thing is that Emmet was making a theological argument, and she was making a real life, okay, this is reality, we have to face it. And when there's not much way to evaluate them on the same category, because what it is best for society, it's her argument. What it's best for, goes more aligned with the views of the religion, it would be Emmet's view. So it's
Did
Grace? Did Emmet make? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm curious if Grace. I'm curious if Grace or either Emmet or Grace specifically outlined a divine command, because that's really clarifying, especially in a if the bounds are theological, I can know that, well, if you're going to reference the Bible for divine command, I kind of already know that you're pigeonholing it. It's just what God says. There's nothing other than what God says. And so it sounds like grace was a little better faith to what most people think of as sort of morality.
Yeah,
instead of
I think
Emmet being in the right.
It was a refined. I was like honestly impressed with her presentation and her argument. Like you don't get that very often from me, really. But she did super well.
Emmet's always a ton of fun to watch debate too. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the guy.
Yeah.
So the problem with her position, though, was that she was coming at it by also admitting that she was Catholic and kind of trying to hold to that position. But the fact is that Catholic teaching completely disagrees with her entire argument.
Correct, but it's like she's trying to do a sort of a reformation. Like, okay, I understand we're Christians, we're Catholic. We need to contend with some of the realities of the world.
But that's the thing, though. Like, if she was coming at it from a secular point of view strictly, and not bring in like religion into it, then it would have actually given her more ground then from
no, but she said towards the end, for example, that okay, your view, Emmet, is making everyone turn away from the religion. If you make it a little bit more palatable, people can you can get more people joining. Max says, for $5 Singaporeans, with everyone talking on top of each other, I must have missed the point. Then I take it back. Then I guess we all agree sex education is important. I don't know why. And Sunflower is like still spurging out because he's having an emotional response to us that our claim is we are pro giving sex education to kids in the house, in the schools. There are different types, there are different ages, there are different things to be taught at different stages.
Max, Sunflower is a child. He is not ready for this sexual education.
Like he started literally yelling, "This is sick!" like a moron. And we're just talking like, "Hey, you know that sex education prevents abuse in children?" And he was like, "That is sick, dude. You want to help children identify when something is improper? That is bad." Like seriously, dude, relax. Max V says, $5 Singaporean, tap that like button, or Sunflower will show up at the foot of your bed tonight. Ew.
Oh my God, we'll be singing tunes again.
I guess I think it's worth pointing out that all Sunflower has done is provide a sort of visceral emotional reaction. He hasn't done anything that would even classify as remotely informative. He hasn't made an attempt to present an argument. He hasn't made an attempt to object to any arguments given. He's just kind of gone, huh, ew, bro, and that's it. And that's just that I don't know what that. You're just making sounds at me at that point. Nothing you're saying means anything. Go scream at a fucking wall if that's all you're gonna do.
Along with, I was never a child, Leo.
Oh, don't worry, Max. I know. I
never
know
thought
Sunflower
about
for
this.
5 years. I know Sunflower well.
Yeah, Dad knows best. John says, I met my now wife, fucked her, had kids, and bought a house all before we got married. We basically live a non-religious but traditional life, so no premarital sex isn't wrong. So, and that is awesome.
Of course it's not. Most humans throughout all of human history were born outside of wedlock. People were not married when they had kids. It's that way now, and it's going to be that way for the rest of the time that there are humans. Marriage is a social construct. Humans came up with it. I don't care whether somebody's married or not when they want to fuck each other. I'm okay with people fucking each other and not even trying to have kids, because that is, as psychology has shown quite clearly, also quite healthy for humans. So I care about the health of humans. I care about the education of humans, and I care about their ability to meaningfully progress into the future in ways that are conducive to the success and the security of all of us on this planet. And
Nope,
traditional
Leo,
values and mores
I have a
just
question.
don't
Leo, I
conduce
got
that.
a quick question.
No, I'm
do you
just mad
think
at Leo
do you
because
think
my kids are
do you
bastards
think
according to Leo. I'm kidding.
Leo,
I'm
do you
kidding.
think that like someone using premarital sex as a way of discovering natural causes of satisfying or not satisfying, is that like an objective moral position?
I don't know what
No,
you're asking me.
I would
So
say
like,
that
yeah,
sex
I
like,
can
it has
explain.
to
I
be
can explain it
objective?
actually. I can
Can it
explain
be can it be amoral in any way in your worldview? Can it just be?
Can what be? What?
Well, he's asking about the sexual encounter. I'm just asking, can it be amoral? Why does it have to be moral or immoral? Go ahead, Docs. I'm just shooting this.
No,
at
I mean, I think that's right. Yeah, like you know, if someone says, well, like it can't be the case that, you know, this like sex ends up being this really ungratifying, wasted sort of energy, emotional capital, physical time, space thing. And I can uncover sort of my objective reasons why that is. Isn't it also true then that that's like the same thing as saying, well, you have to have premarital sex or you have to be open to the idea, without being like a creeper, obviously, because like this is the way that people understand like necessary moral functions in society. It's not just a subjective moral stance.
It's not a moral thing. Sex is not. I mean, it comes to morality when
It can be a moral thing. I mean, there's a moral code surrounding sex,
right?
But
Surrounding
sex
sex
itself is just a fundamental feature of human society. It's good for kids to have a what's the word I'm looking for? An appropriate understanding of what it is.
Hold on, before he loses his point,
fundamentality in human society.
Hold on, Leo Phileas. He knows when we cross the line. I'm sure the Ducks or Ducky knows that, like, when we cross the line into rape, it's no longer what he's talking about.
Oh, of course,
so. Right? Yeah.
Let's
no, but the act
before we completely jump, right?
I don't think the act of sex itself has a moral value. Why would it?
Yeah, you can be in a committed relationship. You can be having safe sex, and you know, you don't even have to invoke like really hard, like violent moral questions about sex. You can just say, yeah, even in a healthy, happy, like functional and considered sort of situations, you can still have bad sex that is also unethical sex.
I think what you end up running into, as far as, and I've got to really go after this, but I think what you end up running into is the idea that you have all of the pair bonding and all of the reactions and admittedly mostly women go through. Men, you know, we don't have these we don't necessarily have these things going on to contend with. And while yes, okay, you know, it's just a physical act, carries no moral value in some aspects. The fact that you could be doing damage to somebody else's mental health or well-being should always be in the forefront of your mind. And that's weird that I'm saying that, because I don't particularly care about what people think. Max, I appreciate you having me. I've got to get some sleep.
All right.
And I hate to like, you know,
no problem.
throw things
You
out there and run.
we do for MDD. We do after shows every time there's one on MDD. So you're welcome back. We do open panels, and if you're nice, I'm nice, and we can discuss and disagree and everything.
I'll be at Debate Con for anybody that.
Oh, cool.
As a matter of fact, I was a key motivator for it being in Nashville.
Awesome. Yeah. Oh, all right. We'll probably send. I'll probably have friends over there. So yeah, sure. Awesome.
Well, it's good talking, everyone.
Thank you.
We'll chat later, I'm sure, and have a good rest of your evening. To my people that came over with me, like, subscribe, do all the things.
Thank you so much. That is cool.
Good.
I have more notes.
I agree for the modern day debate crew, which probably already took off long ago, but yeah, definitely like and subscribe.
Max, can I say something to you?
Yes, of course.
Whatever you do not come to the United States. Do not even make the attempt to come to the United States.
I'm not.
Safe. I would not attempt it. I will pay you to not come to the United States. Stay away.
Pay me. I already stayed away, Leo. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the payout.
What's wrong with
okay.
what's wrong
Yeah,
with the
Leo,
land of the free, Leo?
did you fix your flag too? It used to be the other way around, I thought. I didn't.
No, that
last
my
time I
screen,
saw it.
my screen was mirrored.
Oh, okay, got it.
All right.
I understand that.
So I took some notes of some things because it's not all flowers. Her argument was generally better built, but it had some problems because, and I don't know how she can justify this one theologically, because she was saying that premarital sex might lead to a better result, but then was like super against masturbation. And I don't know where her scale of value, why would it change that much? Because if you're going to go with the doctrine of the lesser of two evils, within the Christian paradigm, masturbation would be less evil than actually having sex. So it kind of undoes.
What it though? I don't know if the people that hold the natural law think that's true, because they would say that while the act of sex might be sinful, the act of sex is still within natural law, while masturbation is not.
But they're conceptually wrong there, because animals masturbate all the time.
I agree that they're conceptual. I'm just saying that from that perspective,
Leo,
it's a bit of a niche.
They took away the toothbrushes, okay? They took away the toothbrushes.
Yeah, but you could make an argument from Christian theology that just in the first place, if you spill seed or something, that itself has a moral significance in a society. So
good.
Like,
That's good. I hadn't thought about that one. Thank you.
Damn you!
But they're trying to make abortion illegal and not, Jackney.
No, that is nothing. That's a non sequitur.
Why would spilling seed have a moral implication on society? Like how?
Because the primary purpose of spilling
I didn't mean
is to breed.
It would have a theological context. It would just have a theological context. Period. Right.
Well, yes, I guess that's where I was going. Is that just because of God said so argument, or is there some sort of practical?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not making
I think we're gonna get into that boring, is this just like a Bible claim thing? Like it's.
Not just Bible, but because of the fact that she also did say she was Catholic, there is Catholic teaching that strictly says that both acts are equally grave sins. There is no lesser of two evils. They're both grave sins.
But also, if a male spilling seed is somehow morally bad religiously, then should we not, when you apply it to women, given the biology that you're dealing with here, every time a woman doesn't get pregnant through a monthly cycle, you're spilling a seed, you're wasting an egg, aren't you?
No, that's not how it works.
John's introducing the but also of the Christian.
No, that's true though, because there are examples.
He's not wrong. He's not.
There's the
saying
Duger.
that-
Ryan, there's the Duger family, right? There's an entire Christian family that has 19 kids, bro. John's I think there is a theological significance that there are crazy people
Do you ever watch
who
the
believe that God
documentary
wants
on
you to
them?
have 30 kids. On Amazon, no, dude. I want to for sure. But
yeah,
good that you bring that up, because my next note was
it's not
that
good.
she seems to think that the implications of marriage is that you always have unprotected sex, that she kind of said in an undertone that you're kind of obliged to have sex with your wife, husband, etc., and that you are not allowed to use contraception. And I was thinking, like, okay, if you have 3 kids and it has become a reproductive problem, how does that work? It was a weird take of her. I don't know. I don't know much.
It sounds to me, Max, like grace here is the reason why sex education is a good thing.
Yeah, maybe. Could be. Ale, how are you?
Well, I was gonna say it's not just about sex education. It's about being comfortable talking about those things, because for some odd reason, we
Communicating.
become detached. Yeah, the communication of it becomes so.
Like, I always communicate with the women that I'm involved with. Always.
Yeah.
Me too. Oh yeah.
Well,
me too.
it's not just women. It's the fact that we had this conversation about
People.
children
They,
being
thems.
informed. Well, not just that. We had this conversation about children being informed, and the thing that drives me up the wall right now, especially in the way we are right now, is that you have this whole Epstein thing going on, and it's like, you know, we all want to tell our kids there are people like this. And how do you tell them? How do you tell them that there are
You just
people?
have to tell them. There's
Be
no
honest
way
about it.
There's be honest
be
and
honest.
educate, and there are some things that
Those
are better.
people, I want to challenge them and say they don't want those kids to know
They
because
don't.
it makes it
Of course they
easier for those people
No.
to abuse them.
Why
and
do you
whether they
think-
know it or not?
Why do you think
Well,
Christian
how-
institutions are the ones trying so hard to keep sex education out of schools? What
How
institution is also
can-
notorious for fucking children?
I mean, I have a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old, and they have both been told by the school and by their mother and I what is appropriate behavior and what is not inappropriate behavior when directed towards them. How the hell is a child supposed to report inappropriate behavior if they don't know what inappropriate behavior is?
Well, that's just
Exactly.
it, John. You're
That's a good baseline for
You're
sure.
a parent.
Yeah, what do you
For
mean
all
it's
people-
wrong? It's just a game that I play with my uncle
For all
because
the
they're not
people on
Yeah,
educated.
exactly.
They don't know any
who
better.
Are children, John? You've had that conversation where it's like, if anybody touches you in this place, that's not okay.
Come tell me
You
and I'll
need to
fuck them
tell
up.
someone, and then we will
Well-
make sure that this is dealt with properly. Has anybody ever done that? No. Thank
Well,
God, right?
look,
And I'm an atheist, so I'm going to say that because thank fuck, right?
Because that isn't.
I'm
especially from
agnostic,
your
and my
perspective, it's a miracle.
my
As a
position is
father,
generally
as a
twofold.
parent,
If another parent came to me and said, "Hey, this
So
person
much
has
stress as a parent. Yeah.
you know, this person has been abusing my child," I'll help them dig a hole. And likewise, if you can find an example of an educational institution whose idea of sex education is handing a kid a tablet and a link to Pornhub, likewise, I'll help you dig the hole. But like, I don't really see much of that happening. So, I'm,
not happening.
you know,
Nobody's
That's
telling
the
kids
scare
to go to
tactic
Pornhub.
used
That's
by
the
the
thing they
people.
say.
I was being a bit hyperbolic there. I'm more talking about like where you see we have seen some examples of some books on, you know, there have legitimately been some examples of not necessarily lessons being taught in classrooms to like 2 to 5 year olds, but there have been a few legitimate examples as far as I can tell where there have been books on shelves in like school libraries that have been talking about like anal sex and stuff like
I
that.
was gonna say, when I was in junior high, that means, you know, anywhere up to what, 13, 14. You know, if we wanted to see any action, we had to like open up a book about like Africa and like try to find some ladies that were like dressed
Oh
scantily.
my yes.
Like we had to try to like open up
Yes.
a book where people didn't dress the way we did. You know what I
Yes,
mean? Like,
or a little cleavage on I don't know, a mom's magazine, and you were like, what?
Native Canadians. Let's
I-
just
I
find the
think
women's
that-
section here. Okay.
I think
Oh
that
my God.
pretending that you know, sexuality is not something that children explore, and being respectful and educational about it, to not generate trauma, and that, like, we understand a lot of these things. So let me hand it over to Ale. Hello, how are you? And give us a summary.
13-year-old memories.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, hello everyone. Nice meeting you again. I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted because it's a debate between two people that I don't agree with.
Yes.
So, yeah. It's sometimes hard for me to listen to the points of two people that I don't agree with. But yeah, I think it's pretty obvious for anyone that knows me that I agree more with Grace on this topic. But I kind of think that she conceded the debate in her opening because, I mean, strictly speaking, the debate wasn't about which is the lesser evil. It was whether or not premarital sex was wrong. And she agreed with his name evades me.
Emmet.
Emmet. And she agreed with Emmet from the start. So, yeah, I mean, I think she did make good points and better points, but at the end of the day, I think they both agree on the topic, and she kind of considered the debate in that sense. So
yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Thank you for reminding me of the little switcheroo. She did do that, didn't she? John, let me get a little bit of a summary for you, and then Dux, I'll give you another summary, and then Leo will hand it over to you. And I have some questions for Ryan.
Oh, I was gonna say I got to jump out here soon.
Oh, you gotta jump out? Okay,
But
wait. I'll ask you the questions.
No, let the other guests go first. I'm just gonna use the washroom real
you
quick.
got
But
it.
I did want to say
mute yourself so we don't hear you pee, please.
Yeah. And the flush and everything else. Did you hear it on the live stream?
And wash your hands.
Yeah, I will. Don't worry. I'll do it. Don't worry.
And wait, if someone on the way to the toilet, if someone touches your pee-pee, you tell me, and we will deal with that. Okay?
We will sue them together.
Yes, we will get all the monies.
Fucking weirdos. Even if it's the snake in the cage over there. I have a snake. Anyways.
Yes.
But I did want to say, Alejandro, you had trouble listening. I hosted that shit. I'm recovering.
Yes.
I'm doing what I can. This is recovery time, okay? All right, so you wanted to get John in here. I'm going to use the washroom.
But hold on, let me read a couple of messages before that. Max says, I watch videos and read books on sexual education from 11 years onwards, and it just helped me be responsible when I started being sexually active at 15. Yes. And they don't understand that if for me, if I hadn't had my sexual education, the first time, which happened not because I searched it, but because an older girl just got horny and I was there, was kind of like a thing that happened. And I was fortunate enough that I had the knowledge and the protection, or that would have been bad. So I didn't plan on it. I was a nerd. And that was when everything changed and I became cool. Because
How much older was she?
2 years. She was
Okay, not
she was
bad.
16. She was 16. I was 14, but we were in the same class. When I was growing up, as says Aldebaran, cable came out here in Hawaii because the HBO showtimes were live. I saw naughty films at 4 p.m.
Oh yeah, same, same here.
I mean, yeah, my computer never had a filter, and David, Emmanuel, yes, Emmanuel was super known. My computer didn't have a filter, but I was thinking of my nieces. My 15-year-old niece, when she was like 12, she figured out how to crack the parental lockdown on her phone. And me, as the irresponsible uncle, I was like, respect. That, like, I mean, whatever she does now with her phone, she deserves it because she worked for it. So look at that. What a surprise. We have the man, the legend. Oh, my God, look at that scar. The lady's fall at his feet.
Oh my God. Right where I want to see him, in his bed. Isa.
Yes. Oh my God, Isa, the amount of ladies you're gonna get with a scar. Holy shit, I'm so envious.
Yeah, I just want you to know that when you came into the stream and I saw your name, I swear to God, it said Isa Kabir, small penis of peace.
No.
And then I had to look harder, and I was like, oh,
Leo?
See, now we've been talking about it too much. You got fucking dicks
Leo,
on the brain, man.
That's right. You got the fucking foreskin on the mind frame. Isa,
I actually
can you
don't
hear
have
us?
foreskin. Thank you very much.
Oh, you poor little circumcised.
I do. And I found out that a lot of people in the US don't, and that you guys actually find it weird that people actually do have it.
Yeah.
What? It is considered. It's considered genital mutilation. It's considered genital mutilation in Canada now.
Really
interesting.
You have to have a religious claim.
I think there are various studies that show it's healthier being circumcised, isn't it? Not by much.
Only if you live. Hold on. Only if you live with no ability to clean anything.
Right.
500 to 1,000 years ago, but we do.
All right.
Well, as someone that's circumcised, I have never like had some conditions that I've looked up online. I didn't
What
even
conditions
knew
do us
they existed.
foreskin people get? Please tell
Like
me.
smegma, for example.
No, but that you clean that.
I was
That
gonna say that's just a symptom of wash your dinkus.
it was
Okay?
never
You
a
can get
problem for
the
me
snap-
ever. But let's stop talking Willis. Isa, how are you? Did you catch the debate? How did the surgery go? How's your leg?
I had the surgery. Well, first, great to see y'all. I was like kind of passed out because they give you a lot of beds, so you know.
I understand. Yes.
Yeah. So I did see the debate, most of it, until I
You
passed out.
poor thing. That was worse than where you were at.
Yeah, the
Love you,
debate
brother.
was. Thank you, bro. Let's see. So yeah, the surgery was a couple days ago. So I've had 2 surgeries. I had a tibia plateau fracture. So it's pretty bad fracture. So they did I had an X fix.
How did you manage to do that?
Premarital sex.
Yeah, funny.
Were you hooping and went up for a dunk and came down wrong and it just fucked everything up? That's what happened, isn't it?
No, like 10,000%. No, what happened was we had a really bad car accident.
While he was having premarital sex.
It's actually interesting. Andrew Wilson was on. I had explained the story at that time. That's when I had the surgery.
Yes.
But so what happened was I went to a funeral of my stepfather, or I call him my other dad, but he in South Carolina. So we had a big hike down there. We got to the funeral, was coming back up. I was with my mom. She wanted to take over driving. She's a bit older. We had first gone to a mechanic to make sure the car was kind of worthy, you know, or road worthy, you know, just to make sure we could, you know, get back home. And basically what happened was she got tired because we had also gone to Michigan the last week, and we had another funeral the week before. So it was a lot. It was a lot of stuff we're going through. And she was really, really tired. So we started heading up, and we were about to switch roles after an hour, and then she kind of swerved in the left lane from where we're at, and she hits a car because she's exhausted, right? Goes into the island. You know, the island is like in between the highways.
Yeah.
Grass Island. Then we go into oncoming traffic. So this is like a horror movie or action adventure thriller, whatever you want to call it. Going to oncoming traffic, we miss the oncoming traffic about to hit us. Then we go into the grass right next to the oncoming traffic. We keep going. The brakes failed, so the brakes are gone. Like they're just not working at all. She keeps hitting the brakes. I pull off my seatbelt because I'm like, oh, we're gonna get entrapped. We hit a tree. The car turns. The car like capsizes. And then she falls on top of me. She doesn't have a seatbelt on. She falls on top of me, and my leg gets crushed. My back gets crushed, so my scapula is also broken too. And then I became Harry Potter at the same time. Yeah, so we're entrapped in this car. So I've never broken a bone in my body, so I'm like, oh, this is a real nightmare. So people rush the car. It's insane. It's like it's a completely different experience. So I've sprained muscles plenty of times. Really, you know, it hurts a lot, but you can fight through the pain. So what happens
I
is,
tell you what, I've broken every single bone in my body except the
oh
sternum.
wow,
That's still intact.
wow. So what happened is we're trapped. She's on top of me, and we're trapped in this, you know, confined space. We see smoke coming from, you know, from steering wheel. I was like, oh shoot, is our car gonna explode? I'm like, we're trapped here, and they're like, can you open the door? And I'm like, I'm trying to get to the door, but she's on top of me, and I'm like pulling, and then I'm like, what's wrong with my leg? I can't move my leg at all, and it's excruciating pain. It's like it was a nightmare. And then basically what happens is, you know, after a half an hour to 40 minutes, the EMS comes, and they, you know, they're able to open up the windshield area, but I have to cover my mom's face and they put like and as soon as they can, they put like what's that thing called? Like a tarp, not a tarp, like a kind of a blanket type thing, sheet, and cover us. And then the glass starts pouring. And then they cut all the windows, and then eventually they saw off half of the top half of the car.
Wow.
And then we both
Did they have to use the jaws at all?
What are the jaws?
The giant kind of pincers.
The big claws that can cut through like the frames of vehicles.
The
and
frame
shit.
of
The thing you pry the big asses open on the old lady.
Yeah, it's like a gigantic can opener, hydraulic.
I think it's exactly what they used, because
holy cow,
they sliced off the top
damn.
of the car, because we can't really see because the sheets on top of us. But I'm like, it was this.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. The jaws of life.
Yeah.
That's the name. The jaws of life.
The jaws of life, you know.
Isa, Golden Driver, and Coco ask you, how's your mom?
So what happened was, we get the top of the roof off, and then we get both extricated from the car. And like, I'm worried. I'm like, I want her to be alive, like, because I lost both of my dads. Like, I don't have any, it's just my last parent that I have. So we're getting pulled out of the car. But she's super positive the whole time. She's bleeding too. But I saw her hand; it was all mutilated. Like, her hand was completely mutilated, and it looked like a horror movie. Like, I'm not kidding. It looked like some body disformation that you see in like Freddy Krueger or something like that, or Friday the 13th. It was insane. Her hand was all mutilated. And I was like, oh my God, this is freaky. And I feel blood pouring down my face, and I feel my head, and I'm like, it felt like a horror movie. Like, I'm like, it was so unreal. We got extricated, and this is what's crazy too. They basically sliced all my clothing off, and I was like, oh my God, my favorite shorts. It's just shattered, they're just shreds. They
don't hesitate. They just go.
Yeah, and my shoes too. They could have pulled off my shoes, but they shredded my shoes, and everything was shredded. And I was like, wow, this is intense. And then they put a sheet on me and get an IV into me. It was just really intense. So we get to so it's like 40 minutes to the hospital. So all of this stuff is taking a lot of time. So we get to the hospital. I'm in immense pain. I can't move my leg. And I was like, oh my God, it must be broken. I've never broken a bone, but I'm like, this is what it must be. And I'm like, I can't barely move my leg. And then we get to the hospital, and she's there, and mom is just happy. My mom is like a bundle of joy. She's like a light. She's always smiling. If you meet my mom, that's the kind of person she is. She's always positive, always smiling, always happy. Like, she just no Debbie Downer for her. Like, she's always ecstatic. And she was there, and she was just smiling and happy and getting along with everyone, and just beaming, and just acting like normal. That's how my mom is. So we got there, and she was fine, and we were very happy to reunite. And she had 2 surgeries because her ankle got messed up too. So they did surgery on her ankle, surgery on her hand. They're not doing surgery on my scapula. They said that will heal itself. But I had to do 2 surgeries on my leg. I had to do the X fixture where I look like a Cenobite from Hellraiser, where I have like this metal bar that's on my leg. It was crazy. And then now I looked.
No,
they did the surgery.
That's my ice cream.
And then after the second surgery, they pulled. I had a horrible ace bandage and dressing, and it felt terrible. And when I pulled it off, I was like, oh, I look like a Frankenstein creature. I have all these clips in my legs, and I was like, wow, this is just amazing. So
you're a Terminator now.
Yeah, that's it. Cyborg, Terminator, all of it. So that's my story, and I'll tell you, if you don't mind, I'll share what I thought about the debate too.
Yes, give me 1 second. It's probing time said this. I had $3,000 worth of motorcycle body armor just sliced off me after an accident. It has to be done at times. Yeah, it's oof.
Can I just ask? I can't remember if I asked this before, but because obviously, but How old was the car? Like, it doesn't sound like there are any airbags in it or anything.
No, there was the airbags also deployed. It was 2017. We had bought it new.
Right.
So yeah, it's just, I've been hit before in that car twice, like, and it's not been my fault. So it's been accident, it's had some accidents,
Hey,
So
Isa,
yeah.
I'm fucking half wasted, man. I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Thank you.
Like
I appreciate that.
That sucks, man. I'm
I
just so
appreciate
sorry
that.
for you.
Do you have any trauma, or do you feel like you have like psychological PTSD from just the I don't know if this is inappropriate, but you just told the whole story. So like traumatic event that happened.
I mean, I have with car accidents in general. I've had like 4 car accidents in the last, like, 4 or 5 years. It's been terrible. So
Wow, that's a
yeah,
lot.
it's a lot. I've been hit 3 times. I was T-boned in my Prius, left for dead. Like, I could write like a novel about surviving car accidents, the horror of car accidents, and none of them were my fault. So
Yeah, man, you could. You have PT. I feel like I have PTSD from some freaking shows I show up to. I just feel like a
You're funny.
train wreck. Like a wreck can just depends on you. Anyway, oh man, I have to head out soon. But Max, you had a couple questions around the table there. I didn't want to leave you hanging.
Yeah, we got. I forgot.
I want to ask you a
'Cause
question,
I'm a
Ryan.
fucking idiot.
I want to ask you a question, Ryan. You got to get Max and I on some debates. We want to come do some debates on modern day debates.
Yes.
Help us out, brother.
I think I might have a little bit more pull right now. There's some. I don't know. I don't know what to say to you fellas. It's one of those things where there's a certain vein that James has for the debaters that he likes, and obviously I like you guys. That's why I'm here. But I'm different, Like I said tonight on the stream, I'm the atheist host, and they just about lost their shit for a couple of seconds there. I don't think Grace knew. Grace was like,
How long?
What?
Ryan, I'm curious.
What?
How long have you been moderating on MDD for?
Oh, almost what? Well, I've been in contact with James for 4 years now, so since 2021. So I mean, I've been hosting since 2022.
I've noticed that there has been a lot of Andrew Wilson lately in modern day debate.
And I'm not a friend, so it's a weird time for me.
All right, Isa, summary of because I forgot the question.
Nice.
Brian, so I'm so sorry.
I'll go quick. on the on my summary. So I feel that it was a very internal conversation. If you're not really in the Christian world, honestly, you're just not going to care about what was said. I'm just being frank with you. The arguments that were made, it was like, this is for Christians, and pretty much like old right Christians, like the Orthodox and the Catholics, like if you're a person who's from a different religion, like if you're Jewish, this is like, it's so unimportant. You know what I mean? Jewish people don't care about this.
They don't care about premarital sex?
Not really. Not in the same way. And it depends which Jewish group you're in. Yeah, it's not nearly, the shame is not there. It's a lot of shame stuff going on. That's what I heard.
Yes.
All the shame and guilt. And I was like, I'm sorry, I hate to say this. I'm like, who gives a F, like, really, about it? That's literally what was going on through my head. And then I'm hearing people going, oh my God, it's a horrible sin. It's so bad. I'm like, okay, if it's so bad, people do it, then what happens? So is there a lightning bolt that comes and strikes you? I'm like, I mean, the thing is, it's so weird. I'm like, if we're going to take the Jewish law, which is completely dependent, I'm like, what about if I eat, if I wear mixed clothing fabric, or if I eat, the flesh of a swine, what happens then? Am I going to be destroyed? Like, the thing is, it's like, when I was listening to the conversation, the one guy, what was his name? Emmet, he just kept saying, well, you can be celibate, you can be celibate, you can be celibate. That's literally the only answer he said. You can be celibate.
Yeah, Emmet from Tardistan.
Do not bang.
That was the mantra. I'm sure, Ryan, that was annoying to keep hearing that. You all can be celibate. He's like, and she's like, well, things happen. Things happen. And I'm like, yeah, duh, things happen. Okay. you know what? Like this, my answer was like, whatever suits your relationship, cool. That's what you should focus on. Do you have a healthy relationship? Who cares if you have sex or you don't? Like that's literally what I was thinking the entire time. Like it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
you're
but
contaminated.
Issa, there's a lot of people that care if you have sex, right? Like, and so like, you know, I know the debate was about premarital sex, but they could have taken that a lot of places. Like, you know, you could have thought like, looked like, hey, I might just spend literally 2 minutes Googling what like intersectional or marginal studies say about that. Like, do these float up values that are universal human values that even like super deep Christian liberals hold? Like people do care if you have sex before marriage. They care what it's like if you have sex before marriage. I wouldn't say who cares, right? Like,
well, but the point is, but my counterpoint is,
I kind of want to add. I want to add to what you're saying too, in a certain sense, because you know, you're not objecting to this criteria, and I want to also add that if you are not ever exposed to any of these experiences, you don't have an opportunity to say, I don't like that. I don't like the way you engaged with that. I don't like the way that you told me I had to do this thing because that was your expectation. I'm going to look for another partner that doesn't act that way. I don't think that there's a whole lot of there's not a door that you're leaving open for that opportunity for people to say, these are the things I like, I don't like. And I'm going to make sure that I tailor my life so that I have those things that I do enjoy. Anyway, I'm sorry, Issa. Just trying to add.
The thing that I was saying, because I brought up this point, I'm like, if we're going to make this a criterion, what about all the other criterion? You know what I mean? What about if I break Shabbos, if I break Shabbat, right? If I pick up a stick of Shabbat, should I be destroyed? See, the thing is so arbitrary. You're saying I care about this particular individual thing. If you're going to say these are laws of God and rules of God, what about these other 613 rules of God that are there?
Yeah.
I'm like, this is where I'm like, this is nonsense. You're arbitrarily choosing this one point and saying this is so important, but none of this other stuff. What about kashrut laws? What about the food, the laws of what I eat? I'm like, why this is important and these other things aren't important?
Well, that's about maturity of stance too, Issa. Like there's two differences here, right? Like you can say I have moral precepts about premarital sex or about traditions or whatever it is. You can also say that I have like some various sort of you know, like I have precepts, but I also have, and I can communicate those precepts easily, but I also have experience. I have practical moral positions, and I've gone through other meta-ethical reasoning, and so those all sort of contribute to moral precepts, right? And so I think you're letting them off easy. If they did a shitty job and it was a shitty debate, you know, well, that's just what that was.
My problem was that it didn't really engage all of like why this is so ethically important. First and foremost, that was never really discussed. It was like you said, it's presupposed that it is important. I'm like, well, if I'm not from these groups, why is this important to me? Why should I care about this? Why is this such a disastrous thing? And that was not really ever mentioned. And why is celibacy more important? None of that was explained. I was sitting here and I'm like, and I want to talk about the opening. So I'm like, there wasn't presentations, you know, both Max and I, that's something we value. We want to see your PowerPoint presentation. You've got to establish what you're saying. So the first guy was just like, yeah, I want to mandate these things because I think they're important. And I'm like, how about if I want to mandate veganism? I could just do the same thing arbitrarily. If we hurt animals, we must ban eating of meat. We must stop meat production. It must be destroyed. It must be dismantled. I can make that argument in the same vein. And in fact, that argument, I think it's a much better argument than this other one, because you can see the effects of, you know, animal industry. You could actually make that argument. It's a much better argument to make. But with this case, I'm just like, oh my gosh, you did something. Now you have like Lady Macbeth, and you have the mark on your hand. You're destroyed.
It is funny how it gets mythological. It is funny how it gets mythological when it drifts outside of almost like the argument lines. I don't know. It's like sort of an abstract like realization that it is.
I do have to say,
they touched. It was a very interesting thing that for a Christian debate, they touched the Bible like for less than 5 minutes. They talk about 2 verses, and that was it. And Dr. J and I were on Discord, and he pointed that out.
I saw that.
And I was like, that is very interesting that the Bible hasn't has barely come up.
Because it's not that important. In the New Testament, this is not, particularly in the Gospels, this is not really an important issue. You know what's more of an important issue? Being a hypocrite. Saying something
Yes.
and doing the opposite of what you say. That's more of a problem than, oh, did you sleep with this person? Jesus overall, like reading the Gospels, I mean, I'm not going into the Pauline text, but Jesus himself, he doesn't really care that much about that. He cares that if you are a grifter, you're a charlatan, if you say, hey, you say you care about God, but you worship money, that's more of a problem. That's the issue. These are his issues if we read the Gospels. And I'm like, like Dr. J said, and I think it's an important thing, I think the old right, like the Catholics and the Orthodox, the issue is more on like the kind of community type of stuff, and it's not necessarily the textual stuff. It's not like, what does the text say? And you know, the Hebrew scriptures, you could have concubines and stuff. Is that that's non-marital sex? You know what I mean?
Yes.
So,
And I was being Emmet came in and rubbed me the wrong way immediately because he came in and started yelling at me and trying the.
he came here. He came here.
Yes, and trying the.
Me and him were arguing a lot when we got out of the stream. So, in his defense, I had him quite riled because I was like, "That was bullshit."
Well, I'm glad you could be honest. I really love that, Ryan. Like, we can have an honest conversation, and it's like, I don't know. Like, to me, I felt that it was just a lot of it was grifting. It's like, well, my way is the true way, and I'm like, okay, well, I can bring up any other way and do that. Like, I have a much different kind of way of looking at theology. I think this is nuts. These people trying to impose their way on other people.
Issa, sorry to interrupt, but are you a practicing? Do you practice Judaism, or how do you actually because there's a lot of people that I meet that are culturally Jewish, but they don't really practice. I know you mentioned a lot of traditions. Are you? I don't mean to make you uncomfortable with that,
That's
but
fine.
No, it's okay. We all talk about what we are, who we are.
So my background's, I'm actually mixed. I come from a Sufi, Islamic, and Jewish background. So I actually do both of those kinds of practices in my life. I would say I'm like a spiritual mystic. I kind of fit in the mystic department. And whatever stuff I do, it's personally for myself. I'm not really into this kind of like thing of imposing communal rules. I'm a little bit different than someone like an Andrew Wilson who believes that you need to have like Christian right. I think I take the perspective that if you believe in religion or you don't believe in religion, it's a private matter. So like very like, you know, I guess you could say like a secular stance where people should be able to do whatever they want in their own life. That's kind of my position. So I do my own practices and my own rituals, but I don't care what other people do. You know, whatever people want to do, that's their own business. So that's my worldview.
That's cool. I think that's comfortable. That's healthy. I'm former Roman Catholic, and so Catholics have a lot of, I think, where you're able to either be, I'm an atheist now, but you're able to either be deeply religious, or you can just be sort of, you know, kind of go through the motions of Roman Catholicism, believe the stuff you believe and should believe and stuff. And it seems like such a healthier sort of middle ground to be able to manage even some of the bigger like societal, religious, spiritual questions that just pop up from time to time.
That's a good point. Well, one last thing I was going to say to you about it too, like, so half of my family, they're Jewish, but they're all atheists. They're atheist Jews. So my mom's family are atheist Jews. So like that, you know, I have a quick story, but it goes like this. Like, so a lot of, you know, the generation of my mom, they all intermarried out. So my family down, they were all like just married Jewish people, right? But then when it was my mom's generation, like her brothers and sisters, they all married non-Jewish people. Like my aunt is Irish Catholic, right? But she's not like, she's spiritual, I guess, but she's not religious anymore. You know, I'm not sure if she was religious, but she had a sister who became an evangelical Christian, right? So my cousins go to her house. They go to there and they're like, do you believe in Jesus? And well, my family are like atheists, so they don't teach religion. It's not important, right? So they come to my uncle and aunt's house afterwards, my cousins, And they're like, what do we believe? I don't know what we believe. Do we believe in Jesus? What's our belief? And then my uncle and aunt said, we believe in love.
Oh, that's nice.
So that's it. That's that's my family. That's where we believe in civil rights. My family were civil rights. They went on civil rights kind of marches and, like the 60s and stuff. Like, that's the kind of family I come from. My grandfather sang a song to my mom, wherever you point your finger to, there's someone with the same blood type as you. That's the kind of family I come from. So very kind of progressive, liberal, non-religious on my mom's side. So, yeah.
Cool. Batman, you were going to say something. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I wanted to push back a little bit on what Issa brought up earlier about Jesus not caring about like sex or anything.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
I do have to jump in right quick. I have to head out because it is almost 4:00 my time. So Max, if you had any questions, get me quick. Because I gotta jump, buddy. If you forgot, that's cool.
No, I forgot. I'm so sorry. I'm a fucking idiot.
No, you're
right.
not, buddy. I
gotta take off too, Max.
All right. Daddy. Thank you for coming. You're welcome back anytime. Take care. Have a good night, and you too, Ryan.
Well, thank you so much, guys. Hey, Ducks or Ducky, maybe I can keep you here for a couple seconds longer, because I guess part of my question, I guess, was a little bit about. Gee, I gotta think about it here for a second. You know what? I'm not going to keep you here. This could actually take a while, so I'll just let you go. It was nice meeting you. Cheers.
Yeah, good to meet Ryan. Bye. Take care. Sorry.
All right. As I thought about it, I was like, this is going to take a while. We'll see you next time, Max.
Take care. Have a good night.
You too, buddy. Issa, all right. Get better. Love you, brother. Cheers.
Huhaman says Max needs to drink more whiskey while cursing and smoking while arguing in bad faith so he can go back on MDD. No, I mean, I would smoke some weed maybe, but cigarettes, no. That fortunately, I was able to not do that anymore. All right, Batman, you wanted to push back on the issues that Jesus cared about. Go ahead,
especially
please.
when it goes and relates to sex. Not only, I'm sure too, we're all familiar with Jesus talking about how, marriage is between a man and woman, let no man separate it. If, not just as well with, if you quote unquote divorce her and then she goes and sleeps with another man, you've made her commit adultery. There's even the thing too about Jesus saying, if you even look at another woman, and of course it applies to women as well, looking at men or whatever. If you look at another person with lust in your heart, you've committed adultery. And there's even the bit too. Now, Issa, you are totally right too about hypocrites, especially when it comes to hypocrites, those who are specifically referred to as the lukewarm. Jesus uses an old, this is in Revelation, by the way. In Revelation, you have Jesus using an old Jewish idiom saying, I will vomit you from my mouth. And what it means is a violent expulsion from the land in that old Jewish context. That's what he will basically do to the lukewarm on the last day and so forth. What he also ends up saying is that it's not even just all liars who will go into the lake of fire, but it is also the sexually immoral.
You go. My guess would be that Isa goes more with the Old Testament for reference, with the Gospel. Sorry, for references. But I did love that I caught Emmet being a hypocrite because he's advocating for sex only after marriage. So the only two possibilities are he's had sex before marriage and he's advocating for something that he's hypocritical about, or he hasn't, in which it is baffling to me that someone who has had zero sexual experience would even dare talk about something they have no knowledge about. So sorry, I just wanted to get that out. Isa, what do you think about the verses and stuff?
Well, yeah, and that's interesting. You bring Book of Revelation. I was saying that's why I said in the Gospel. It's briefly mentioned. It's not. I didn't say it's not mentioned at all. There is a little focus, but it's not a primary focus. And it's interesting then now there's a shift for a primary focus on this. And I think it has to do a lot with, our modern world, and it's very much, because of the influences of the culture that's being filtered through, that this is a major interest now. We come from from the Hellenized world into, the expressions of European thought. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that is the kind of elements that we see. I think if just as the debate went, I think, even in my research in the Gospels, maybe it's like 3 or 4 times. These are mentioned like primarily in the Gospel of Matthew, and there's some in the Gospel of John. But the thing that I thought was really interesting is I think that grace obviously made more sense in the debate. I mean, I'm not saying I fully agree, but I mean, like, from a religious position, I think her position was far more logical. It's like, people are going to do these things. So if you're a person of faith, how do you navigate that? That's a much smarter position than being like, just be celibate, or, be celibate or evil. You're celibate, evil, or you're married. And I'm like, that's not an answer. And you can't have a government imposed situation. So I think that, in my opinion, throughout the debate, I think that grace on that position won out. That's my opinion. If we were to say that.
I think so, yeah, but mostly because coming from the utilitarian position, because the people are going to have sex, you are not going to stop them. So it's better. It's better that they are equipped, that they have been educated and that stuff. And like Sunflower just like literally lost his shit. Emmet was like, "Look at this book," and he sent me a Twitter post with like a children's book that says that mentions that touching yourself in your intimate places feels good, but it's an acknowledgement, and there are some things that you have to teach your kids, and it may be a little bit uncomfortable, but I am extremely grateful about the uncomfortable sex talks that I had with my mom and with my father, and the fact that when I had some doubt, I could just like go and ask them. So
I feel you. I think it's powerful.
And I have a healthy sex life. I know how to take care of myself. I get tested for STDs because I have so I failed. I haven't been perfect, but I generally know, and that's why, for example, I don't have kids, and I'm like 37.
Well, I mean, with regards to this, like the debate and the argument about, like, well, I mean, with what Sunflower was saying with sex education, if you don't at least give your children some kind of information before you send them out into the world, you're essentially just preparing them to be victims. So, I mean, religious arguments be damned. Like, the world is, like it or not, full of predators, always has been, always will be. The religious world is, the secular world is. They need information so that they can at least report these problems when they arise to like parents, police, whatever, and it needs looking into. And that's not just for the sake of that child either. It's also for the sake of any potential future victims that, like, if that child doesn't know that they're being molested or something, and they don't report it, that person is going to go on to affect other people as well. So it's not just an individualistic thing; it's a societal thing. Which is why it's with a few exceptions in the UK, is mandatorily taught in schools. But there's also seems to be a back and forth whether this is a religious debate or not. Well, the debate prompt would seem to lead to me that it has to be, because otherwise, like, is premarital sex wrong? Well, is it wrong to have sex outside of a lifelong committed relationship without being married? That would be a secular way of forming the question, wouldn't it? A religious way of forming the question is premarital sex wrong?
Well, and that's the thing about her argument, is that, and that's kind of an error I think we're sort of making, is we're expanding it beyond what her particular situation seems to be, is like, this couple's already going to get married. why not like engage in just some activity, like some foreplay
Well-
before then?
Well, and yeah, then this is the thing that I've never come across like an argument to state that I got like we're as a species, birth control is relatively new to us. It's been around in a reliable form for decades, and obviously. So we're still trying to get to grips with. It used to be, or it seemed to be, the case that sort of like the hedonistic way that we have sex in society now, we've taken a lot of the risk and the repercussions away from it. So it's sort of like open the floodgates, and you can basically do what you like. Pre-reliable birth control and pre-reliable protection from STDs. Engaging in lots of sex with lots of different people would have been incredibly high risk behavior, and therefore generally people would have avoided it. Don't get me wrong, it's part of our human nature to want it, so it did happen, but it certainly seems to happen a lot more now, and society is trying to get to grips with it. You could have made a much better utilitarian argument for not fucking about 80 years ago. You can't really make that same argument now because the repercussions of it are much more difficult to identify. But with me, for example, I met my wife. We started sleeping together before we were in a relationship. We were just, we liked each other, and we were just sort of having a bit of fun. Then we decided that we really liked each other, had essentially a monogamous relationship. We decided to commit to one another and stop not see anybody else. Then we decided we really, really liked each other, and we bought a house and had kids. And then we went, well, we might as well get married now. And we had a non-religious marriage. We got a legal marriage. So other than doing shit out of order, we've ended up at the same place as like a religious Christian would. It's just we just knew that we were sexually compatible before we decided to hitch ourselves to one another financially and legally for the rest of our lives.
What really gets me? Oh, sorry.
No. All I was going to say is like we've ended up at the same place. It seems as though the argument for like don't have premarital sex is making, but like if you remove the religiosity from it, nobody can really tell me why what my wife did is quote unquote wrong.
The same thing happens to me. I've had all my consensual relationships. No one can tell me why I'm wrong when I've had like hookups. I've cohabitated a house with my ex. I'll probably go into many more relationships in the future of different kinds until I find someone who I really want to settle down again, or maybe not, who knows. But I've had a healthy relationship with my sexuality and with the sexuality of my partners. Grace seemed to have some problems when it came to understanding that women masturbate almost as much as men. That like it was super weird to me. She made it sound like sex is something men do to women, and that just baffles me because it is a very repressing kind of mindset. Was that you, Ale? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that it was a little bit confusing because I didn't quite understand if she was like you said, if she was like saying that it's that only men do it, or that if she was saying that the position was misandrist and that's wrong because it's not the case. Like I didn't quite get her point very well on that.
She was kind of, masturbation is super, super bad because you do it alone. But I don't know. It's part of sexuality, knowing oneself, and she said, "Oh, masturbation is not natural," and that is such a bold statement because it's super. It's as natural as sex. It's sex with oneself, and a lot of
marriage isn't natural either. It's a human it's a social concept.
That is
Like
true.
I've never seen two chimpanzees walking down an aisle of trees with a fucking organist, but I have seen videos of chimpanzees masturbating. So now what's
That is
natural?
true. That is true.
This is
Let's
like
zoom. Yes, sorry. Go ahead.
sorry. Okay, no, I was just gonna say like this is like where you can see their like religious people tendency to assign like the prescriptive nature to science and things, because I was watching a reel the other day about a guy talking about biology and how so many people say that, oh, it's not natural being homosexual, blah 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 blah, and biology says it's not natural, I don't know, and etc etc. And it's like, well, no, biology and science are descriptive. Like, if it happens, it's natural. Like, it cannot be natural.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a prescription. We're just describing what we see.
Yeah. Whereas you're exactly right, Alejandro. It's the distinction between an is and an ought. So when we say, oh, it's perfectly natural, we're describing that we witness it in nature, and anything that occurs in nature must be natural. We're not making a value judgment on it. Whereas when a deeply religious person says homosexuality isn't natural, they're saying they're making an ought. They're making a prescription, exactly as you say. But I think actually, Alejandro, I agree with what you said about the debate as well. Like, I didn't really agree. I didn't agree with either of them. They seem to be taking two sort of pseudo-religious positions and trying to avoid the religious argument. They were sort of like retconning it.
Yeah.
It was a bit weird, yes. But let me read a couple of messages. Zumi said, premarital sex is a great thing. I mean, what happens if you wait years and years, finally get married, then discover you aren't sexually compatible with your mate? And I've often wondered the same thing. And people can only give me like extremely lame answers, like, well, you don't know, it's your first time, so you don't know if you're having good sex or bad sex. It's like, you know if you're having good sex or bad sex from the moment it starts happening. So
I'm gonna tell you this too: men aren't particularly picky.
That might be acceptable to say. Yes, I agree. No, I agree. But
sorry, I missed that. It broke up on mine there. Men aren't what? Sorry.
I was saying men aren't particularly picky. They have sex. It's awesome.
Yeah, like, I mean, it is definitely the case, certainly in the Western world at any rate, that almost any woman could walk out into the street and just like lay herself on the ground and just go, have at me. And it doesn't really matter what she looks like. You will find a significant portion of men that will just go for it. Whereas if a guy tried it, just not a fucking chance. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, guys, unless you look like Brad Pitt or something, if you're out in a nightclub and you want to get laid, you've got to have a bit of game. You know, there is a skill. There is a skill to it. You can't just turn up. Yeah.
Yeah, like women tend to be more in the kind of psychological stuff, or like seeing men. What's that word?
It's more on the bonding side. On average, it's not. It's like a general rule. It's not like we're not making misogynistic claims. Call me your teacher.
Yeah, like. The Bonnie Blues and the Lily Phillips of the world are. They are becoming more common, but that's obviously a ridiculous extreme. But sort of, you know, women who act sexually like men are becoming more common. But it's still rare. It's like you don't tend to see very many sexually aggressive women. I don't know if there's been sort of like the whole cougar thing has become, you know, where the older women who are becoming more sexually aggressive. Part of me wonders if that's an artifact of sort of like them being post-menopausal and then taking things like HRT. So they go through like hormone replacement therapies. So they go through sort of like the menopause. They have the ups and downs on the hormones, and then they come out the other side and they're sort of like hormonally flat. And then the doctor prescribes them HRT to try and, you know, prevent some of the side effects of menopause. And then all of a sudden, you know, they're sloshing with hormones again, and they jump on the first 22-year-old that they see, or Max, ideally, since I know he likes that kind of thing.
Yes, ladies, if you are MILF or GILF, recently divorced with a grudge, you know where to reach me. I can help you.
So,
We can show him together.
Yeah.
So-
welcome to dating with Yerba Mate.
So, I want to talk a little bit more about the debate. I was thinking about
Wait,
Emmet.
1 second. I have one more message I've been saving,
Okay.
and it's been a while, so I wanted to take care of it. I did hear an explanation from Emmet on why premarital sex is wrong. If a man and a woman have premarital sex, the man is using the woman. If anyone masturbates, you are abusing yourself.
Okay, so I wanted to actually talk about. So it's interesting he brought up the speaker brought up Emmet, because that's what I wanted to talk about. Is that, honestly speaking, I don't think there's anything substantive in what Emmet said, like, at all. In the entire hours that were there, I heard nothing that was of real relevance or significance. I'm sorry, that's just what I listened to. I was like listening, and I'm like, the only thing that Emmet said is be celibate, and just imposed his worldview. And he was like, well, this, if you're pleasuring yourself, you're this really horrible, bad like, you're doing this abuse to yourself. And I'm like, well, if I eat lots of ice cream and I overeat food, I could be abusing myself too. I mean, like, there's many ways. Do I need to be criminalized if I'm overeating food? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, I just felt that there wasn't. I feel it's very strange to have a debate where a person is just imposing their worldview and assuming that we need to follow their worldview, and that's going to bring us happiness. And I think Grace rightfully put him to task and was like, okay, so how do we make this work? How do we make your worldview work? And he's like, I'm just proud of my worldview. And I'm like, yeah, that's not telling us anything. And then that comment saying, well, you're abusing yourself, or the man's taking advantage of the woman. I'm like, okay, so what's your solution? What are your solutions in a real world view type of perspective? How do you deal with other ethical quandaries? Are we just going to have like a nanny state where the government just controls everything? Is that what we're going to do? And it's just going to be what you think is ethical? Because again, I could bring up the pro-vegan position. Do you want veganism imposed on you? Do you want, let's say if I take a Vedic perspective, how about if I say we must impose puja? Everyone must do a devotion at an altar. We need to go to Ganpati, we need to go Ganesh, and we need to do a puja. How would you feel if that was imposed upon you? See, the problem is you're just thinking from your worldview. But if we take your worldview to the extreme, then any worldview could be imposed. But you don't want other people's worldviews to be imposed on you. You just want to impose your worldview on other people. And that's
you don't. I mean, it is, but also you don't even need, with regards to your criticism of his argument there. I mean, absolutely, he's not considered the repercussions of his argument at all. Like, I mean, can you imagine what? Like, we live in a society where, like, people aren't getting married and settling down and starting to have kids until a lot of circumstances they are well into their 30s. And he also, like, let's say for argument's sake, he got his wish and he got to wave his magic wand and he outlawed premarital sex. He outlawed any kind of pornography on the internet and he outlawed any kind of masturbation whatsoever. Can you imagine what our Western society would fucking look like if from the age of 15 to 35, we had horny men charging around the place with no way of releasing that sexual tension whatsoever? Society would be burnt down by the end of the first week.
Yes. Yeah, we wouldn't last 48 hours. Like, no, it's just.
I mean, we did pretty well without it for a long time.
The second that we could start to dude, the second photograph that we ever took when we developed the technology was a naked picture. I think the second or third motion picture ever done was a picture with a lady with a cleavage. But by that time it was scandalous, right?
Yeah.
We have a tradition of historical, classical, and Renaissance painters painting naked women, which was the the pornography of the era.
Yeah.
Right.
And Batman.
You know who the oldest person
was it?
ever recorded was, by the way?
No.
The Pope. First oldest person ever recorded.
Batman, was it you that said like we did without it for a long time?
Sorry, say it again.
Was it you when I said like did you say a second ago that we seem to do without it for a long time?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. We absolutely did. The only thing, my criticism is that of Emmet is like the cat's out the bag now. You can't just stuff it back in. The toothpaste is out the tube.
Not
so,
without force, yeah.
Yeah. So my point is that we're all like society has changed. We've become a lot more sort of there's a lot less impulse control because we live in a world where you can get next day delivery on Amazon. You want to watch a film, you don't have to pick up the TV guide and wait for it. You just go and watch it on Netflix or Prime or whatever. We are sort of we're at least 2 generations down the rabbit hole of I want it and I can get it now. So the notion that what Emmett's arguing, and obviously your when you mix that with a very like primary visceral drive that we have like sex, and then you take it away from a society at large, I guarantee you that it's going to end up in sexual violence, the likes of which you would have never have seen. It would, if you're going to do that, you're going to have, let's say we ended up with some sort of theocratic regime in charge, that would have to happen in like baby steps, stages. So Emmett's position is nuts. But I don't place sort of, I am agnostic. I do have certain sympathies for particular religious positions, but I don't place sex on the pedestal that they do. I think it's very important for sort of like pair bonding, and I tend to be of the position that the foundational unit of not just Western society but human society is the family unit: parents, kids, loving family units. Obviously, we're individuals and we have individual rights, but the unit is a family. But I don't think marriage necessarily has to be a part of that, and that seems to be like what a lot of the religious arguments are, sort of family units, and they want to use like theocracy as this cudgel to get people to behave that way. And what I think the thing that's driven us more away from that more than anything is the advent of birth control and essentially taking away the consequences. And we all have frontal cortexes and we know it, so we know that we can engage in this behavior that we're hardwired to seek without any of the consequences. And as soon as you remove the consequences, we have to find a way of society. Well, I mean, we may not have to find a way of societally dealing with it, but like, if my daughter came to me and said, "Hey Dad, look, I want to, rut my way through secondary school because there's no consequences," I would advise her against it. But if she said to me, "Oh, I've been seeing my boyfriend for 6 months now, and I want your advice on when would be the best time," I'd be like, if you care for each other, as long as you're sensible, as long as you're safe, if you think he cares for you, be careful. If you have any problems, come to me. Don't be afraid to. But I would like her first time, not necessarily to be with, I don't think she's at the age of 16 or 17, is because it's obviously the age of consent in the UK is 16. It's different in some other places, but it's going to be very unlikely that the first person she has that experience with is going to be the person that she's going to spend the rest of her life with. But I would like it to be that she cares for and he cares for her, assuming she ends up being straight, obviously.
Right.
But there's also that thing too, is where you still want what's best for her, and what would be best for her is to not sleep around, to not have like as many partners as she kind of likes. Because that even another thing too, where you mentioned that sort of like requirement, especially too, is where you think that he loves you or whatever. So then men play just as bad at games as women do.
I mean, yeah, we all agree on that. But why would you say that the best thing would be to know? Because I don't feel that I could get married if I met the girl of my dreams. I would get married tomorrow, and it wouldn't change a thing. So I don't know. I don't see where the negative aspect of me having had premarital sex are.
Well, it's not just the fact too that when you're also like, you know, ending up having to like test yourself too, then she's gonna also have to get tested. Kids have to get tested.
I get tested every
Like,
6 months. I've
Yeah.
been tested every 6 months for years. It's free.
That's actually a cool part, but
Yeah.
oh no, actually, I think we do that here too.
And I was
yeah.
I had my years in which I was not as careful as I should have been, and I got lucky. I can say that. But in general, it's good to have education, and I think that approach, it's a utilitarian argument, I know, but it leads to worse results because thick pregnancies. Let's say you don't get HIV, but you get syphilis, gonorrhea, some
Well,
Something you can cure,
innocuous
yeah.
stuff.
But like, it ends up being a whole thing too. It was kind of where I wanted to even push back a little bit on something you had said earlier, where it was like, you've never done it before. How would you know whether or not, like, or how would you be able to tell, like, to do this or that or whatever?
If it's bad or good, yes.
Yeah, if it's bad or good, whatever. And it's kind of like,
Yes.
I mean, there was a time too, especially in my atheist days, and I preface that too, especially with the emphasizing like my Catholicity. In that time, like I was saying, yeah, just do drugs, it'll be fine. Yeah, just drink, it'll be fine. Yeah, just have sex if you genuinely care about one another. Then yeah, just go ahead and have sex. But I can tell you too, like as somebody who's went through like all that, I don't teach to replicate my mistakes, and that's not even a thing too.
but
Just like there's a lot of like not just regret, but it's also a thing too where it's like I'm not with them anymore.
But I still have fond memories. I have the exact opposite experience as you, because I did basically all except drinking because I never drank. But I did drugs, stopped, had sex, stopped. I mean, I had different kinds of relationships with different types of bonds, and I don't regret anything.
Yeah, we live in a relatively low risk society now, don't we? So we can engage in that sort of youthful experimentation, and everybody tends to sort of stabilize as they get a bit older. I think get it out of your system is probably the wrong word, but I was actually my life track has been probably not quite as debauched as Max's, but it's followed a similar arc. Yeah,
mine's pretty debauched too.
Yeah,
especially with all the raves I went to as well. And all the kinds of people I hung out with. Yeah.
Most of my sexual experiences have been within relationships. So there's been the occasional short like dalliance or have I ever had a one night stand? Yeah, I have had a one night stand, but like that I don't particularly like that. I like if there's no scope of sort of like revisiting the experience, because frankly you learn the more times. Sex seems to have this sort of weird well, I suppose it's not weird. I suppose it mirrors almost everything else we do. Like the first time is exciting because it's new. It's a new person. You're exploring a new body. You get, and then like you sleep with them a bit more, and then you start to learn what one another like, and you get the satisfaction of seeing their satisfaction as well as getting your own.
There's
and then
the taboo nature of it too, like that.
I
aspect
agree.
of it as well.
I agree with that. That when you develop some intimacy and some bonding, it gets better. But for a while, for me, it was just like practice. I need to become great at this, right? So I took it as a challenge, I could say. And in here, it was part. I went to a public high school, so I had a fun teenage years, I could say. but there's no social stigma because we were swapping around people being with classmates, and then when I started working at McDonald's, like everyone fucked everyone else. Like it was a mess,
At work.
but it was fun.
I've heard horrible stories out of a Wendy's.
Like in those
I
places,
hope no one confused the mayonnaise.
yeah, the
Yeah,
funny,
let's just say it ended up on someone's burger.
Oh my
in places where you have a bunch of 18-year-olds that are just getting out into the world, because here in general you start working at around 18, right? So you have people who work at a McDonald's and are starting to have their first somewhat real money, that it's not money your parents are giving you. And then you start working late nights and this and that, and everyone ends up hooking up. But it happens in fast food restaurants, in supermarkets, places where there's all kind of young people. It happens.
Well, it happens anywhere. Yeah, the gym,
Yeah,
church.
the gym,
It happens at school.
the
it
office,
happens
and all of that. So
it's weird. Like, so
the older you get without getting married, the harder it becomes that you find yourself in a situation where you're getting married with someone that you're both virgins. If you're in Uruguay today and you are 20, it is 90% more probable that people are not virgins at 20 years old or even 18.
Yeah, being actually sexually naive when you getting by the time you get married, unless you're getting married in this world, unless you, like in the Western world, unless you're getting married at the age of like 16 or 17, it's almost impossible to find somebody. Even if
that's even sort of sketchy on that one too now.
I don't advocate for that either. But, I mean, the first time I had like full on sexual intercourse, I was 16, and the girl we'd been seeing each other for 6 months, and I like we were quite young, like we were obviously only just like legal, but I would put her house and they would let her stop in the same room. Now I was instructed there was like a camp bed that was put up in her room and I was supposed to sleep on that. We fucking didn't. My dad on the other hand, when she stopped at mine, my dad said that I had to sleep on the sofa and she was sleeping in my bed in my room. And I was like, but Dad, we can. Her parents are happy for us to sleep in the same room. And he's like, yeah, they have a daughter, I have a son. Knocking on my door, I want to be able to guarantee him that whatever happens.
You're broke up.
My dad was of the opinion that if anything were to happen, then it's going to happen under his roof, not it's going to happen under my girlfriend's dad's roof, not under my dad's roof, because he's the one with the door. So he sort of like, and the thing is, like, I'd have to walk past my dad's bedroom, my mum and dad's bedroom, to get into my bedroom, and usually he used to sleep with the bedroom door closed when my girlfriend wasn't staying over. But when my girlfriend was staying over, my mum and dad's bedroom door was looking like what?
That's the thing too. Like, if I were to become the father of a daughter, like the father of a girl, like that's where I'm immediately buying a shotgun. I'm waiting for those teenage years.
No, I have nieces.
No idea how
as long as they
I'm
are
going to be.
As long as they are happy and safe, when you see them, it's all good, and you know that they're eventually going to get heartbreak and they're going to cry, but it's all part of living. I don't think in coddling, because I mean, Batman. you're not going to take this personally, so I'm just going to say the joke. If you buy a shotgun, your kid will just end up going with me when she turns 18. You know,
Oh my God.
there are those around that when you it's something so bad that it has to be permanently coddled. It makes it so appealing and so like if you freak out so bad that you tell me that you would like shoot my little boyfriend, Dad. It has to be so good. So it has to be worth it. So I don't know. I don't know if at some point you're just enticing the bad behavior with the over coddling.
I get Batman's protective instincts because I have that, like with my daughter and my son. But for me, the repercussions of sex with girls is much greater than it is with boys. You know, men can and do being responsible for looking after a child, but it's not like they have to carry it for 9 months and become a, I hate the term, but essentially, like, I mean, can you imagine that I cannot possibly imagine my 14 or 15-year-old daughter coming home to me and we find out that she's pregnant or something. How we would get through that, but like just there's no good outcome. There is no good outcome here, regardless of what essentially you decide to do. I would hate to have to deal with that. Obviously, it's more. So I completely understand the protective instinct, and there's obviously the instinct just like, who did this to my daughter? Even though the encounter may well have been consensual, you like, but you feel like. So I completely get that. For me,
because either way, you're going to feel at that point like this dude just used my daughter. Like that's the immediate instinctive reaction.
But that's the same thing you do to your wife, and you know how nasty you are. Like, look at me in the eye. You know that you're a sick fuck, and your wife is so amazing that she lets you do whatever you want because she loves you. Like, seriously. It's a little bit hypocritical, and I'm joking, but it is a joke with a half truth, right? So I never saw that idea of, no, I wouldn't. I have like a big sister.
So it's not like an issue. It's not like an issue of like trust on that one. It's how to even put it, where essentially, like, yeah, with my wife, if there's dudes that even like look at her funny or even like try to do something, then yeah, that's that immediate like animalistic instinct to just jump.
I found
and so like if anyone ever did anything to my wife, like in that point, like in that same thing too with the daughter, it's blind rage.
Yeah, I mean the relationship between obviously like, so me, I would have to fight down that rage, and I would need an explanation to my daughter and go, look, how the fuck did this happen? You need to explain this to me, because am I going to the police, or am I going to have a sit down and a chat with somebody else's dad and have a discussion about what we do? Whereas with my wife, obviously, if somebody assaulted my wife, then I'll be digging yet another hole. But if I'm out with my wife and we're having a few drinks and stuff, and I see guys like looking at her because she might be wearing a summer dress, and my wife, obviously I love my wife, but I also still look at her and I go, fuck, she's sexy. How did I pull this off? She's like. When other guys look at her and she gets a bit of attention, I like that. Not because I'm some kind of cuck and I want to take them home and sit in the foot of the bed. But the reason I like it is because it's sort of like an affirmation that she is desirable to other people. And when that happens, when that happens, I'm like, you can look, she's fucking coming home with me though.
I 100% get that. But and even like with my ex, we would go around the street and she would hit me with the elbow and like, hey, look at her tits. and we would do that kind of thing, and I would find her butts that she liked and that kind of stuff. Or you'll see someone in the bus like that, and it's like, dude, look at his muscle, what the fuck? And that kind of game, it's always healthy, it's always nice.
So I had an ex that would do that with me too, and she was bi. So she didn't even mind pointing out like certain women with this or that, whatever.
Mhm.
And she knew that I was hers and she was mine. Like strictly in that way too. So there was no issue in that regard. But it is basically in that same sort of like, I don't know, jealousy is the word that does get used. I think there might be a different word,
Yes.
but it's that same thing too, where like if a woman sees her man looking at another woman too, it not even just like acknowledging or not even just acknowledging certain assets, but even acknowledging the woman in general, you're dead. It's that same like territorial kind of like
My wife and I play that game as well. Like we'll watch the TV and a character will come on, and I'll just look at her sideways and I'll go, "Would you?" And she go, "Fuck yeah!" Like,
yeah.
It's not that she's going to like jump up off the sofa and run away with them. It's more just sort of like acknowledging the aesthetic, and like they're attractive, and we can acknowledge.
And you can intuit their taste other than you, right? So yeah, if she likes I don't know, bald guys, or if she likes maybe blonde guys or black hair guys, or kind of skinny or muscly, you get to figure out what kind of tastes you have that go beyond yourself. And I see a lot of appreciation and trust when something like that happens, because it's like, I trust you enough that I'll tell you that other than you, who I want to continue being with, I am attracted to X. And I think that it's very healthy, and it doesn't hurt anyone.
Can I just
let me read this. Coco Rose says, OMG, a Glover told me we need to go back to women being handed from father to husband. Oh my God.
Yeah.
John, go ahead.
Yeah, so it was just with what when Batman slightly tongue-in-cheek said about buying a shotgun. I think I definitely understand the instinct, and I think what I would like when my daughter starts dating, and I mean like, I don't mean dating like kids like they're 11 and they tell you that they've got a boyfriend. Like, I don't mean that. I'm not fussed about that. That's just and that's just kids messing around and stuff out. But like when she seriously starts, like when I was in my mid-teens and I started, I met my first proper girlfriend, and first, I met her dad and stuff like that. I would never let my daughter date seriously, certainly in the early years, without me insisting on meeting the young man in question. Not because I want to exert some sort of like authoritarian control over my daughter's choices, but it's because I would like to meet them, like to have a conversation with them, get a measure of the person, and just see if I get any kind of red flags, like any spidey sense starts going off. Because frankly, I understand men better than she ever will, because I'm a man myself. And also, it's the case that at this point, I have much more worldly experience. She's going to be far more naive than I am. And if I do see something that concerns me, I would like to be able, it's my responsibility as a father to be able to advise her. And I can't advise her without meeting this person. Now, some people might say, well, it's not your right to butt in at all. You have no right to do that. But, it's my job to continue to protect her, no matter how old she is.
I wouldn't even consider that butting in. That's just parental advice, because you're not saying like I would demand that she leaves him. You're just saying I would advise her. So I don't even think that qualifies
I don't
as
see
butting in.
anything. I don't see anything wrong with that either. Like,
So
it's not that
it's
you're
a difference to
not
treating her like a
letting.
human, yeah.
It's not like you're not letting her do something. You're kind of guiding her down the path of, okay, this is, kind of what will give you the best chance at success. And then about meeting, the little boyfriend, I think that's cool.
Well, it's also why
you also have to understand though too is that not every dude she's gonna bring back home is like you, or like me, or like any of us in here.
Yeah,
that's the worry. That's part of the stress.
Yeah, and I think that's also why young men, when they meet the parents or the fathers specifically, usually of the young girl that they want to date, and that's why they're also incredibly nervous when they meet them, because they know they're going there to be judged, and they know that the prospective it's going to be advised accordingly based on how they perform. It's like when I met my first girl, it was a nerve-wracking experience.
I don't know. I never understood that. I was never nervous when when I was introduced to my girlfriend's father. I was just like, yeah, there shouldn't be a problem. Nothing will happen. Yeah. So yeah, I think maybe I'm the exception. I don't know, but I wasn't really nervous at all.
It became
either there was something he already knew, or he was very good at putting on a mask.
It became easier, sort of like later in life. So me and my first girlfriend, like proper girlfriend, we stuck together until I think it was I can't remember if it was my first or second year of university, and that's when we split up. Well, in fairness, she split up with me because I was talking about like graduating, buying a house somewhere, settling down, and she wanted to run off and travel around the world, and I wasn't particularly interested in that at the time. So as much as it was a great sort of first relationship, it was fantastic, we ended up delineating. She wanted to do something different, and that was fine. It was and I would like for my son and my daughter to ideally try and replicate that experience, because I think it actually set me up quite well going forwards. I then sort of messed around in university, and in my 20s, I then had the experience of getting around a little bit, and eventually settled down. But I do think I think it's just about extremes. Like,
Well, that's a general statement one could make about anything. Extremes are generally bad.
Yeah,
well,
but it's dealing with somebody you love and who's like a part of you in that way too. It's sort of just with someone you love in general, even with like a friend or whatever too, somebody close to you. You don't want any harm coming onto them, yeah.
All right, we're going to start wrapping up. We're going to do final thoughts. I asked Ryan, and I will try to get another debate with little triggered bitch Emmet, because he seriously tried the preference shit on me, and that don't fly. And he kind of rubbed me the wrong way. He yelled at me for no reason.
So
for no reason.
He rubbed you the wrong way. So your first sexual experience with Emmet was.
Yes, like he couldn't even do that. So imagine I'm now I'm blue balled, I'm frustrated, so I'm just gonna wreck him. And it's funny that he thinks that he has the smoothness of Andrew Wilson, and he was like, I'm just using your own. It's like, motherfucker, you have no idea what you got yourself into. Unfortunately, we couldn't continue that because we had an after show to do, but I will try to get Emmet to debate me and just cook him like I cooked that Ortho bro last night. It was funny as hell. All right, Isa. Yeah, poor guy. Isa, final thoughts. Okay,
I'm on
let's
mute.
go.
That's cool.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm here. See, my camera's on, buddy.
I'm slow. I'm very sleepy.
No, you're good. You were here for a long time, and I went to sleep for a bit because I kind of had to.
You took a nap.
Yeah, I took a nap after
Cheater.
the debate. So what I feel about the debate is, I think, like I said before, I think it's a very internal conversation. So you kind of need to have these values to really care about the outcome of this conversation. It's a very, like, we've seen this with Muslim debates. We've seen this with certain kinds of debates where it's hyper specific, and you kind of need to be in the community to really have a stake in the game. So I think that is important to recognize. Religiously speaking, I think I agree with my colleagues of what they've said here on the panel before. It's like it was barely touched upon, like Dr. J had mentioned that, and Max had mentioned that it's barely mentioned upon, and I think it should be kind of your primary thing of why this is important, because that was never established. Both openings didn't have a presentation, but I mean, I think Grace overall in the debate comes out stronger because she had sheer charisma. She sounded like a better debater. Emmet, unfortunately, was pretty monotonous. He had a kind of monotone, and his arguments were pretty monotone as well. He basically just said the same thing over and over and over again. What was established in the debate was that this is a part of life. Sex is a part of life, and we're religious people, and we need to figure out how to navigate this space. So, and I think Batman mentioned this too. Yeah, maybe you might not have intercourse, which I think is the big no-no, but you could go do things like foreplay and perhaps self-pleasuring, and these types of things are better than the outcome. And I think that is a smarter plan if you're a religious person and you want to maintain your religiosity and not feel super guilty. I think it makes a lot of sense that you're going to do other things that may not be full-on intercourse and that can make you feel supported. And I think if our position is what we're doing within this debate is this wrong, I think that Grace comes on top with this situation. And this is not my worldview. I'm talking about the internal worldview of the conversation. Emmett's position that we were given pretty much the entire debate is we need laws to regulate this. And he said, I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that. He took the Ali Dawa's position of that. And his position was be a celibate. And I'm like, yeah, that's illogical, irrational, and ridiculous. So I feel that ultimately, in the space of the conversation, I think Grace was more intelligent. Grace offered more ideas within the position. I think she countered all of Emmett's positions, and I honestly feel, I'm sorry to say this, I feel Emmet offered nothing. He offered nothing for this situation, and that's not good. Like usually, like in a lot of these debates, like I'm like, oh, there's something good here, there's something good here, there. I feel that Emmet offered us nothing at all. He offered us nothing for this, and if you're coming to this stage, you need to offer something. And just saying being a celibate to engage this situation is not going to help anyone. So my position is I'm going to say that I think Grace came on top in this internal dialogue, and I encourage Emmet to, I know that he's bringing his faith in, and that's awesome, but I'm encouraging him to think deeper on this and think about other arguments to bring to the conversation. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Isa. I was remembering that Grace brought up the point because Emmet was saying, oh, it's still immoral. And she was like, when she brought up the example of the mountain, oh, you're flying on a plane over a mountain and you have to resort to eating the dead people. That was a perfect analogy. Because number one, it is absolutely true, and number two, it is actually real. Because many years ago in the 70s, there was the Uruguay team, or the Uruguay rugby team, was either coming or going from Chile in a plane, and it fell in the Andes, and that's what they had to do to survive. And a lot of them, they were high class people. they were Christians, and they had to do that to survive. So it's a perfect analogy. I did like that very much, and it resonated with me because it happened to some compatriots of mine. But yeah, I think she was superior. There's one movie called The Society of the Snow in Netflix. Watch it; it's cool. Was it you that was going to speak, Ale? Yeah, go.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I gotta be honest, I do want to know what a human tastes like. Like, I'm extremely curious what cooked human meat tastes like.
No.
Like, for
Especially
me,
from the
food,
butt,
like
when they
when
check.
vegans say this thing about like, but do you know what the sausage is? They just grind all this shit into and put it together. Like, doesn't that disgust you? I'm like, no. As long as it tastes good at the end, it's not illegal and it won't harm me. I don't care. I could eat human for all I care.
Right.
Well,
Final.
apparently humans taste like pork. Because when I obviously I've never
How would you know?
tried it myself. Well, because that's what people that have been forced to do it have reported, and also like when you look at the cellular structure and the way our anatomies are arranged and stuff like that, we seem to be most similar of the domesticated animals that we have around us. Like pigs seem to be the most similar. So I mean, it sort of lines up, I guess. I just have a quick question for Issa. You said it a couple of times. How do you know Grace comes when she's on top?
Oh, you're silly. That was funny.
Ah!
That's a good joke. Well, I mean, I would say
It's just puts his arms behind his head. Well, you'll just have to figure it out.
I think the responses are completely in full, so that's how we can know.
All right, Ale, final thoughts, please.
Yeah, I think, like I already said, like my biggest concern with the debate, that I don't think Grace specifically debated the actual topic, but like other than that, I agree with Isa that she definitely came out on top, and I think most of us agree with that. I wanted to say something else. Oh yeah, I also agree with Isa that to be too concerned with this topic, you do kind of have to be in the inner group of extremely religious Christian. But I do think like an atheist could debate this with a Christian, but it would, in order for it to not devolve into a debate of like, is God good or not, or does God exist or not, I think the atheists would have to concede that God exists and try to demonstrate to the Christian why, by their own logic, they don't really think that premarital sex is bad. I think that would be about the only way to go about this topic, if it was a Christian versus atheist.
All right, thank you so much. Batman.
So, first thing I do want to address, though, is that I disagree with that being a perfect analogy. I find it to be a completely terrible analogy because it's not whether or not to engage in premarital sex is not close to a life or death situation. It's nowhere near comparable. The other bit too is that she kind of opened the floodgates on herself when she brought up her being Catholic, because then it did become an internal dialogue in that way. That's where a lot of focus ended up going. And the argument that I think he should have made was not like to do like a whole like government sort of enforcement, but the answer should have been to change the culture, to change people's like minds on this whole thing.
All right.
I think that's about all I have. Yeah.
Vibe says Emmet is a friend to me, but he lost with the false dilemma of the lesser of two evils, because you can choose to not eat people and God would reward you. You don't know that, because maybe God gets pissed off. It's like, hey, or like I left you the food. You were supposed to eat the people. That's how you survive. That was the test to see if you really wanted to survive. You didn't. Now you go to hell because you're a moron. I don't
that-
know. But you are right in the first part. He did get caught up, but I don't think it's a false dilemma. He was presented with a dilemma, and he found no rhetorical way out of it. I think she outclassed him in debate there. I don't think Emmet is too smart on debate when it comes to debates. What do you want me to tell you? He tried the preference bullshit as his first argument. And then when I ask him, okay, what is your position? My position is it's my preference. Like a moron. Like a puppet of Andrew Wilson that I will eat alive. Like him and Andrew.
Well, the problem is it's not even a preference. Like in this situation, it wasn't like it's like I want to mandate this on everyone, and I'm like, that's the insanity. Like it's like we need to have a government instituted situation. I'm like, huh? Are you kidding me? And that's why my counter argument was, if we said that we want to go, then let's institute veganism. No one wants that. No one wants to be instituted with any of these things. Just because you like something doesn't mean everyone else likes it.
Or something like this. I just gave this person a logical argument, and all they can do is like pretend that they know what the fuck they're talking about. It's not in his nature. How the fuck do you know God's nature? What are you talking about?
One thing I wanted to point out though was there is an alternative. You don't even have to do like a government mandate. You could just do exactly what the state of Utah did. State of Utah went to, what was it, Pornhub? Basically said, hey, all right, so if you want to continue using having your website in our state, you're going to have to basically have people give IDs. And then they just banned, and then they just did porn. They just banned Pornhub from the state of Utah. Like Pornhub did it, not Utah. They literally just banned Utah servers from going in that way as well.
Well,
so
and Batman, like from last Friday in the UK, all pornographic websites now require age verification.
Really?
Yeah, it was a bill written into law a little while ago, and in order to give the website the businesses time to modify their infrastructure. So do you know in the week prior? Sorry, no, was it the Friday or the weekend after the legislation came into place and all of these websites put in age verification? The most.
It's not just a yes or no, is it?
No, we already had that. It's I'm not sure what type of identification you need to use. I think it might be like a. Sorry, one. You might need to put in like a credit card or a debit card, and it nominally bills you like £1 or something. So you have to create an account and then like that.
Interesting.
I'm not a big fan of that. I think that if you don't want your children to look at pornography, you should secure your computer.
Yeah,
and then the moment that they manage to break in, then they absolutely deserve to do whatever the hell it is they're doing.
You've demonstrated you're intelligent enough to break in, therefore you've demonstrated you're intelligent enough to manage the content.
You're intelligent enough to manage the content, yes.
But over the weekend after the age verification came into place, the most searched for apps on all of the app marketplaces were VPNs.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I think it's a stupid thing to try, and I think if you are really concerned, just put some decent security in your house and try to keep up with your children. But just know that, I mean, they will inevitably break it. If they're motivated, they will talk with a little buddy. They will Google how to break in. They will break in. And I think that at that moment, you should actually be proud. If you're, maybe it's because I am a bit of a rebel, but I get somewhat proud when my nieces defy their mother.
Well, it's also age requirements. The age restrictions are arbitrary anyway. We decide at the age of 18 somebody is mature enough to vote. We decide at the age of 16, like legally speaking, on average people are mature enough to engage in sexual behavior. But that's not I know some 35-year-olds I wouldn't trust with a fucking potato peeler. So,
that is true.
Is arbitrary.
Walk next to you in Birmingham.
It is arbitrary, and for example, in the US, it is especially aggravating that at 18 you can drive, you can have sex, you can do porn, but you can drink. It's like even wilder.
I would
Who
disagree
am
a little
I?
bit.
John is missing doing final thoughts. Please go ahead.
Yeah, this debate I found, I was listening to it while I was snoozing, so I was sort of dozing in and out. Not in because of the same reason that Isa was dozing in and out. But the thing for me with this, like it did. You're right in that the topics seem to be religiously orientated, but they seem to be doing their damnedest to avoid having a religious discussion.
Yes.
And what Alejandro was said that I sort of agree with, like where he said that somebody, like, you either need to be arguing this from internally on the religious side or externally on the non-religious side. But I think it's much more difficult for an atheist to argue the religious position against the religious position, because like when the religious position says, well, because God says so, then the atheist can go, but I don't subscribe to your deontological or dogmatic position. I don't subscribe to it. So, but I think a religious person could argue against the atheist position, because there's nothing to say in principle that you couldn't argue that there are better ramifications for society, not if people are necessarily married, but if they're in a long-term committed relationship, and that is only loving long-term committed relationship, and that is the only place where sex happens. You could probably evidence that that's better for society. What Emmet was doing, which was just from wanted to dictate it from up on high, is insane. We don't live in theocracies anymore. That's not going to happen. And I also don't think that you could ever meet a burden of proof to state that sex should only take place in long-term committed relationships. Like, for me, overriding the self-autonomy and consent of individuals that we have deemed legally capable of consenting, in order to override their autonomy because of some sort of societal good, has to be a really, really, really fucking high bar. At no point in this discussion did I hear anything that would even come close to that. It really was just two theocrats that wanted to argue for a theocratic position, and they were trying to retrospectively justify it without using their theocratic position, which scheme of things means, yeah, there might have been some presentational flair with Grace, but in terms of what was actually said, basically nothing.
Well, true, but you have Emmet's position, which is sadness, loneliness, and insolitude, and then you have Grace's position that has handjobs and blowjobs. I mean, I know what I would pick.
If you force me to pick between the two, then obviously I am,
of course,
with Grace. Absolutely. But Emmet, it just.
Look at that. That is so stupid. No one is an authority. The book says what it says. That is so wild. I'm not an ortho, but I do know Emmet is not allowed to go into scripture because he's not an authority. That is so funny.
So theocratic instruction bestowed from up on high. Let's just go back to having all the Bibles written in Latin, shall we? Only the priests.
That is wild.
Yeah, let's do that. What a great idea.
And the dude has a. Does he have a YouTube channel? Hold on, let me check.
I'm not even sure I understood his point. So.
He's saying because he's not a religious authority on the text, he can't. He's religiously prescribed from making religious arguments, and that's why he didn't make the religious argument.
That is such bullshit.
Then I think I did get it. But
see that.
No links so far.
Yeah.
Do you have? Do you know Emmet? Do you know Emmet's channel? You may find it funny, but it's not to the ortho. I laugh at everything, dude. Yeah. You think I've never laughed at atheists saying dumb shit? Alrighty, we are done for tonight. Tomorrow, I have no idea if we're going to do something, but Sunday we have the community music stream. Isa, are you available on Sunday? Yes,
Yeah, I'm available. I'm
all
stuck.
right.
I want to ask, can we finish that Jubilee video? I want to finish that.
Sunday evening, I think we had spoken with the Dr. J, and yes, we can finish it because despite the fact that it got demonetized, apparently we get to keep the super chat. What they don't let you do is monetize it in the sense or that people will generate revenue from the views after the fact, after the live stream. So we'll check on with Dr. J tomorrow and see if we can finish that on Sunday night.
I would love to, and I think that's fine. We can eat that. We can eat not getting, because it's such a good video and it's such a
It's such a great, yeah, of course.
I mean, Mehdi Hassan totally comes out on top, and those I wouldn't call them right wingers. I would call them fanatics. Like, those fanatics do not come out well.
Those are the people that you would kind of say that they're a little bit on the radical side.
Like, they almost seem as a setup from your belief. Like,
I was surprised.
Sorry.
I was surprised to know that Mehdi Hassan is a Muslim.
Yeah, he is.
That is very. He I think he might be a Muslim in the vein, kind of like you are, a very modern, progressive Muslim, which I love, because I love finding good things about stuff. You know, people I like, regardless of whatever their positions are. People like who I feel are intelligent, articulate, who make great points and that kind of stuff. So I was very surprised, and I found that to be awesome.
Mehdi Hassan is not a moderate Muslim at all. He's nothing like Isa. You go and have a look at I mean, so for example, he is one of these Muslims that believes that the Quran is literally true. He had a discussion with Richard, and Richard Dawkins said, so this was at Oxford Uni, and he was having Mehdi Hassan was hosting the discussion with Richard Dawkins, and Richard Dawkins discussing with him, he said, well, I do you the credit of not being one of the Muslims that believes that Muhammad rode up into the sky on a winged horse and cut the moon in half with a sword. And Mehdi Hassan categorically stated that he did believe that literally happened.
Oh, then.
Well, he believes in miracles. Well, okay.
So
that's when I became a fan of it.
but yeah, also, yeah, he, not a reasonable person at all. Don't get me wrong, he's a good debater. He's a skilled rhetorician, but he is not a moderate.
I don't know him personally. I just know what I saw on that, and I saw a couple of videos. I saw one video that was called like Mehdi Hassan destroying everyone, and it was a great compilation. I had a lot of fun.
Think sort of the Muslim version of Andrew Wilson. He's sort of that kind of character. Why was the video demonetized? What happened?
Jubilee, they're a bunch of assholes.
So what, they struck it for content?
Yeah, if you do, anyone who does a review, and if you play any of the footage, they will take your video's money, except the super chats.
So this is just an internal thing with YouTube. It's not a copyright strike in terms of like, because obviously it's fair use. You're reviewing it. You're adding content to their content. So this is just right. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's not a copyright strike, but the video is demonetized. But yeah, I think we can, like Isa said, I think it's worth to cover it. We're not going to going to the future. We're not going to make money off that video, but it's okay. Like, I think it's great to cover Golden Stripe versus MDD sucks. Oh yeah. I mean, sometimes I drop the ball, but okay. And today Isa asked Ryan So apparently, I sent that email when we got the new channel to James. Hey, like, get me a debate. I'll try to send another one, but yeah, apparently James. We'll see. All right, people. Love you all. Before we go, make sure to do the social thing is like, share, subscribe, send this to a friend, send this to your significant other, go to the corner, yes, the corner of your street, and just subscribe to Yerba Talks. And I'm going to bed because I'm super tired. Love you all. Take care. We'll see you maybe tomorrow. Definitely Sunday. Love you. Good night all. Bye-bye.
Bye.